Okay. All right. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Echo with your host, Fallenwolf. So, I'm going to give a heads up. I'm going to give a heads up right now. I'm going to apologize. The last time I streamed this, which was, I think, like a month ago, which was about a month ago, I had some issues come up with while trying to stream. I had a lot of calls going on and a lot of urgent matters that I had to attend to. So the stream ended up not being that good. We're not having that this stream. I am going to go back to the part that I did, and we're redoing it. And I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to go past that as well. But I just want to let everyone know that the little bit ahead we got in the last stream I did for this, I'm going to be redoing. Just because it was so poorly interrupted. It was like an hour of me not doing anything. But now I have to figure out what part I was at, actually. I think it was this part. I think it's this save file. Hopefully I'm right. I can't remember the exact part that I left off on. But I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going with Leo. Everybody here, I don't know, whoever watches Echo, that's whoever or played Echo, that's great. Whoever hasn't, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Go watch some other videos of Echo, the other 3 parts, and then come back to this. But I'm excited to get back into this. I kind of very curious to see where Leo and Chase are going, because they did get back together as a couple, supposedly. There was issues in the past. You can see there's hints of stuff that's already starting to fall apart, and the little bit I played last time, I was like, oh man, they're gonna, I don't know. Right now, I don't know if they're gonna stay together or not. I don't know if they're gonna call it quits or not, and I don't know. But so I'm gonna be starting back with this part. I'm gonna be streaming for however long. I'm also going to be streaming on Twitch today, and per the usual, I have a Discord channel that's somewhat new. If anybody wants to join, I will share the link once more, real quick before we start. Boop, in case anybody's interested. And that's it. I'm gonna keep going with the stream now. Okay. From the sounds of it, Leo is still in the middle of his shower, still rocking out his Diva Pop song. Huh. Should I respect his privacy, or should we check his phone? Do I want to respect his privacy, or do I want to go onto his phone? Also, I wanted to say real quick, happy Christmas Eve to all of you. To people that don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. I'll just say happy holidays. Tomorrow is Christmas Day. This year's not the best for me for Christmas because a lot of issues going on. I've explained it before. I'm currently without a job. So not the best, but it is, it's still the holidays, and everybody should remember the most important thing. Is to love and cherish one another during the holidays. That is the most important thing. Share kindness, love, and joy, instead of just worrying about what gifts you're getting. So, and especially with this year, if nothing else, you can celebrate that this year is finally coming to an end. This has been a very rough year for a lot of people, and now you can celebrate saying, hey, it's coming to an end. Okay, I just want to make sure we're good. Okay. Boop. I'm gonna check his phone. With some amount of guilt, I reach over and grab his phone and open up his texts. I scroll through the conversation to earlier this morning. Chase has a project to do. Bullshit, you're fucking with him again, huh? I'm helping him. You planned this from the start, didn't you? What? This whole thing, it was to get back in his pants. How about I planned this after you ruined the entire week, huh? Yeah, well, fuck you too. I frown. It's too bad Leo and Flynn are still fighting, but for some reason their exchange has me feeling uneasy. I pull up his next recent text thread, one with Carl. Carl asked Leo when we were hanging out again, yesterday night. Leo pokes some fun at him about sleeping in the crawl space. Then Leo tells him that he isn't sure, that I'll probably be too busy with my project to hang out. Leo never asked me. I feel my heart start to pound. Today Carl texted again asking how things were going. Leo tells him that I wanted to go to the high school for nostalgic's sake, that I wanted to be alone for it. He sent that 2 hours before we even got there, before he acted as if it was on a whim. Then Jenna asks if Leo was avoiding her, if she said something wrong. Leo tells her everything's fine, but again, I'm too busy to hang out. And then his text to TJ. Hey, yesterday was so much fun. I know you said you were probably going to be busy, but I wanted to check. Chase is still pretty sad about what happened Monday. I think he needs more time. Oh, okay. Please tell him I'm sorry. He told me he was fine yesterday, but I guess he must have been faking it for my sake. Yeah, he's still pretty broken up. We'll figure it out, though. I'm gripping the phone hard. Could Leo have really done all of this? To TJ especially? I sit there quietly, listening to my wolf continue to sing. My stomach twists up as I realize that now I have to confront him on this. I've let things slide before, but this is on a different level. I hug my knees and stare at the wall, feeling strangely violated now. God damn it, Leo, you had... I don't get it. Because, hello, Furry Lobo. Like, Leo, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, come on, what the hell? What the hell? So Leo's like, oh yeah, like, I'm starting to regret liking Leo now. I'm starting to feel like things are gonna come to a head. So pretty much, it sounds like Leo is a very possessive boyfriend, and he doesn't want Chase to spend time with anyone but him. Oh no. Well, I get the feeling I know where this is going, which is really sad. But I get the feeling I know where it's going. Also, I wanted to say real quick, can everybody hear me okay? I'm not too low, am I? I am using a filter now. After I got some advice from another person that does a lot of audio editing and video editing to put a filter on a limiter on my audio input device, and I think it's working pretty well. But if it's too low, let me know and I'll try to fix it. This is not going well, though. As I stare, I see a dark spot with spindly legs move across wall. The spider pauses as if acknowledging me before disappearing into the dark corner. I sit on hard, uneven ground, shivering as I try to cover myself up with the blanket. I'm gonna show you some of these pictures. My eyes adjust enough for me to realize that I'm outside somewhere, looking through the branches of dead trees to the many stars above me. Aside from the calls of a few birds, it's completely silent. I stare at the sky above me for a while, wishing that it wasn't so cold so I could go back to sleep. Where am I? The slight confusion I feel mixed in with the apathy of just waking up is a familiar feeling. I can remember when my parents forced me into Boy Scouts 10 years ago. I hated it so much, especially the camping. I could never fall asleep, and when I finally did, it would be marred by me tossing and turning, waking up in confusion as to where I was. I'd sit up straight in the tent, looking around me for up to 10 minutes, wondering why I was in complete darkness and sitting in a sleeping bag. Except now, there's no tent or sleeping bag. My mind works slowly like it's drenched in molasses as I knead the ground with my fingers, digging them into the dead vegetation and soil. And then finally, I break through the barrier to lucidity, and I realize that what's happening to me is real. I'm outside. I look left and right and see that I'm surrounded by trees or bushes. The smell of sage, brush, and dirt fills my nostrils as I unsteadily get to my feet. My limbs and flesh are numb from the cold, and I rub my hands up and down my arms, trying to find some warmth. Did I sleepwalk? I must have. Unless Leo took me out here for some reason. Or someone else did. I shiver. There's not much else I can do except walk forward. Ahead of me, it looks like the branches clear out into more darkness. I hope that I'm just behind Leo's house where I know there are some bushes and trees. Either way, I can't be that far from the house. So I start walking, reaching up blindly to move past sharp branches and prickly bushes. The pain wasn't that bad, not nearly as bad as you think it'd be. I look behind me, staring hard into the blackness. I can't see anything beyond the branches right in front of me, which give the impression of gnarled teeth in front of a dark, endless mouth. Quickly, I turned back around and pushed through the dead vegetation in front of me, trying not to panic. But I knew I was dead the moment I looked down. A branch scrapes across my cheek and another stabs me hard in the hip as I run right into it. 2 stumps gushing blood splashing the wheels of the train and rails. I finally break out into the open. Now I can see more stars above me, but the complete lack of a moon makes almost everything around me impossible to see. I can at least tell that it's a large clearing, but no matter how hard I squint, I can't see ahead of me. Tentatively, I start walking forward, looking left and right for any sign of lights that might help guide me back to my town. I can feel a worrying seed of panic starting up in my chest, and I worry it's going to explode out of me at any second. Hey, Batman, what's up? The last thing I need is me running through the night screaming my head off. Pretty soon I become aware of what looks like a large block in front of me. Again, I reach out my hands, walking slower as I approach whatever it is that's in front of me. They press up against something rough, hard, and cold. Whatever it is, made up of some type of metal. It feels broken and rusted, so I assume it's old. Was it a warehouse of some kind? I sidestep to the right until my hands run up against some bars that stick out from the structure, and that's when it hits me. It's a freight car from the old train. Sure enough, the next thing my hands meet is empty space. I come across what I remember to be the open door I had sat in earlier. I was out in the train yard. I almost laugh. Did my anxiety about finishing the project cause me to sleepwalk all the way back out here? At least now I know exactly where I am. I rest my hands on the edge of the car, breathing in the musty air inside. There's a hint of something sweet and sick on top of it, and it crosses my mind that anything could have crawled inside and died. I quickly move away from the car. Turning my body in the direction I know Leo's house is in, I start walking again, pouring through my recent memories to see if I could somehow remember how the hell I got here. I remember Leo coming back into the bedroom, putting his arm around me, then nothing. I definitely fell asleep. Sleepwalking is the only answer. The sound of rustling behind me makes me jump, but I keep moving forward, not wanting some tiny creature in the grass getting me spooked. Turn down the music just a little, the sound just a little bit. There we go. Oh, no. I don't want to do that. Squinting ahead of me, I see no lights yet, which is strange because I know Echo should have had at least a few lights on. The street lights, at least. A loud metallic clang fills the air, and this time I do whirl around. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Chase needs to get the hell out of there right now. Hello? My voice is still scratchy from waking up, and I cough to clear it. Hello? The loudness of my voice actually startles me, but the response is silence. Did a bird hit it? Maybe I knocked something loose when I was feeling around. I'm definitely not going back to check it out, though. So with a quickened pace, I start moving again. That's when I hear more shifting around the car, like something is rolling around inside. I stop walking again and hold still, perking my ears as I try to hold my breath, heart pounding. This time I don't call out and instead... This time I don't call out and instead just listen. I swallow and it's so loud I almost jump at that sound. But again, the sound stops completely. I wait a while longer before I start moving again, this time at a slight jog. A crazy thought enters my mind where I think maybe Leo and I got really drunk and maybe we both came out here and blacked out. And that Leo was in the train car right now, hungover and rolling around. It's in the middle of that thought, though, that the sound starts up again. It's louder this time and ends with it cutting off for a split second before something heavy thuds to the dead vegetation below. Oh, shit. I stop again, but this time it's so that whatever it is doesn't hear me, knowing that if I keep walking, the heavy crunches of my footsteps will allow for it to pinpoint me immediately. My throat is completely dry and a new thought enters my mind. It could be Clint. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he comes out here to sleep in the train cars. That would totally be something that he'd do. While it does ease my worries a little bit, I'm not fully relaxed because I know the dumb fuck has a gun. I also know he wouldn't hesitate to shoot at something if it startled him. So I crouch down a bit, waiting, listening, and now I'm pretty sure I can hear breathing. Ragged, wheezy breathing that definitely sounds like Clint. I gather up some spit in my mouth so my tongue doesn't stick to the roof of it and take a small breath. Hey, Clint? I say it gently, quietly, but I'm sure he can hear me. I get some more silence in return, but I also get the distinct feeling that he's listening back. I try again. It's me, Chase. There's an explosion of energy and sound in front of me, but it's not a gunshot. Instead, it's a sense of forward momentum that I can physically feel, that whatever it is in front of me is lunging forward at me. Two loud thuds, one following the other in less than half a second, followed by an explosive dragging sound. The cycle repeats the second it ends. Whatever it is sounds desperate, almost manic. but I don't stick around to find out. Before I know it, my legs are carrying me through the clearing as fast as they can. Chase, oh god, Chase is gonna get fucking caught. All thoughts of what it could be are going through my mind as I dodge into the trees and bushes to my right, knowing that if I could break through to the other side, I'll be right in front of Leo's house. What's behind me, though, is moving impossibly fast. Already it sounds like the distance between me and it has been cut in half, and as I'm struggling between branches and sagebrush, I heard it break into the brush with me. I gasp as full-on panic sets in. Leo! Leo! I scream as loud as I can, knowing that he should be able to hear me, also knowing that he sleeps like a rock. The thing behind me seems to double its efforts at the sound of my voice, and the cycle of its movement increased. It now has the momentum of a gallop. My breaths are coming in panic gasps, but now I know I'm not going to make it, because only 3 feet behind me. As if a window opens up in the back of my mind, I see it. 2 clawed hands outstretched towards me, a face that flashes past too fast for me to make out, but I manage to see a lipless mouth. And then it slams into my back and crushes me into the ground against sharp branches and rocks. I gasp as the air is crushed out of me, but before I can suck it back in, those hands wrap around my neck. I struggle and pull, but it's like I'm an ant under a foot. I'm so thoroughly pinned that I can't even budge an inch. There's hissing behind my head, and I feel dripping against the back of my neck. Tears squeeze out of my eyes as I try to reach forward, but it's like I'm paralyzed. Paralyzed. I'm yanked back suddenly, my face coming out of something soft and white. A pillow. Chase, you okay? Oh my gosh. Oh, we're starting to get into the real horror aspects of this VN now. Oh, jeez. Leo's husky voice whispers to my ear as I take in a huge gasp of air. Whoa. Can't breathe. I cough and gasp, my face wet with tears as I sit in the bed looking around. Oh, baby. It's okay. Leo draws me into a warm hug and I take it limply, my mind only now catching up. I cough a few more times. Sorry. Paralysis. Couldn't move. Leo rocks me a few times, making shushing sounds. I remember you telling me about that. Good thing I was here to pull you out of your pillow. I nod against his chest, realizing how dangerous it could have been if he hadn't been there. I usually came out of the paralysis under a minute, but sometimes. I shudder and pull back out of the hug, wiping my face. What did you dream about? I try to think back, but the dream is fleeing my mind as fast as whatever it was that was chasing me. What was chasing me? I can't remember. Leo rubs my shoulder and looks at my face. It's dark, but I can see the white of his eye patches, giving him an almost ghostly appearance. You want to stay up? I can make you tea or something. The adrenaline is already leaving me to be replaced by fatigue, but the offer sounds nice. Sure. Alright, you want to come with me? I paused and shake my head, wanting to collect myself alone for a moment. No, just give me a second. Alright. Leo leans forward and kisses me on the forehead before leaving me alone in the dark room. I lay back down on my side, trying again to remember what I had dreamed about. I was in the woods, and something was after me. That's about all I can recall. The warmth Leo left in the bed quickly has me drowsy again, and I'm about to drift off when something pokes me in the foot. I try to ignore it, but the thought of an insect of some kind has me reaching down to feel at it. It's hard and crackly, whatever it is, and when I pull it up, I find a dead leaf. Frowning, I pull back the sheets, and there, clinging to the fabric and fur on my feet, is dirt and leaves. Ooh, that's creepy. Ooh, Saturday. Ooh, that's creepy. Oh, no, that's, Ooh, that's creepy. Oh, we're about to get into some serious stuff, aren't we? Leo wakes me up early the next day, telling me he had to settle some stuff with his dad at the shop. I don't get much of a chance to ask why, or for how long before he's out the door, yelling something about food being in the fridge. I immediately fall back asleep, though, and when I open my eyes again, it's 2 hours later. Leo texted me half an hour ago. Still at Pop's shop, but be back soon. I think. I swallow back down the lump of dread in my throat as I remember the text messages. I didn't want to confront him. Not one bit. But I can't just let it sit. Something has to be said before I leave. I lay around for another 20 minutes before grabbing my phone to browse a bit. That's when I realized I hadn't charged it last night. My battery at just 25%. I groan and throw an arm over my eyes. One day left to do the project. I'm so far behind, though, that I'm not even feeling any anxiety about it at this point. Just resigned. I should have known better, really. Thought I wasn't going to get anything done with Leo around. I stared at the wall for a while longer before I forced myself to sit up. No use lying around. I might not be making my best project, but it didn't mean I couldn't do a few things to make it less terrible. Food momentarily crossed in my mind, but I shrugged it off. I'd never been a breakfast person anyway. You never been a breakfast person? Breakfast is delicious. Breakfast is like the best part of the day. I mean, I don't really get to eat breakfast that much, but like, I love when I get to eat breakfast. Especially when you do breakfast for dinner. Oh, so good. It's so good. People tell me. Come on, people here know that that's true. Also, hello, Evolutions. How are you doing? As soon as I leave the house, I notice things are a bit off. Firstly, it's a dead quiet. Usually there's some kind of drone, whether it's the wind or a plane overhead. There's usually something. No sound in the bird either. And those were always chirping in the morning. I stand in the doorway for a bit, feeling a vague sense of tension, electricity in the air. Something building? I shake my head, feeling dizzy. That dream last night hadn't fucked me up in all kinds of ways, so it's not surprising that it's probably still messing with me. And I'll be glad to be going from this place tomorrow. Some rustling next door draws my attention, and I see Kuduzu carrying a set of clippers walk across his front yard. I open my mouth to say hi, but I hold back, feeling self-conscious. His brooding nature was a bit intimidating, and I don't know if he's the kind of person who expects a greeting, or not. I'm not left to wonder long, though, because he spots me almost immediately and raises a hand. Morning. Oh, hey there. He grunts before setting his attention on a bush in front of him, sizing it up. I stand there awkwardly for a bit longer, wondering if that's the end of our exchange, but he speaks up again. Leo take off? He nods his head at the empty driveway. Oh yeah, earlier this morning. I walk down from the porch and walk over to the edge of Leo's lawn so it doesn't feel like we're yelling at each other. Said something about having to take care of business with his dad? I see. Kuduzu stops trimming and looks up at me before smiling. You can come on my lawn. It's not like I have an electric fence or anything. Looking down, I see that I'm towing the edge of his immaculate lawn on Leo's side, looking like a little kid. I blush before stepping over to crunch along the tan-colored gravel he had set out. It's weird how nice it all is, especially compared to the shitty trailer sitting in the middle of it all. If we had an adobe-styled house, the place would be southwestern perfection. This all looks really nice. I guess gardening is your hobby? Thanks. Kuduzu snips at the bush rather aggressively. I like it. That's what I do most of the day. The raccoon moves to the side of the bush, examining it. It's peaceful. He gives the bush another snip before resting a hand on his hip while he lets the clippers dangle in the other. And it keeps you in shape. I can't argue with that. Although he's skinny, the muscles showed through the fur on his arms. He's probably the most in-shape guy I've seen in Echo. I realize I'm staring and quickly snap my eyes back to his, but he's already smirking. I worry he's about to point out that he's caught me, but instead he gestures at my camera bag with his clippers. Gonna do something for your project? Yeah. Need to get a bit more film before I leave tomorrow. The slender raccoon wipes his forehead with a forearm. Anything in particular? I think. Not really. Just old stuff to show the town's age. Kuduzu sticks the clippers into the ground, looking up as he seems to think. I know of a few things. Go to the old school? Yeah, was headed there, actually. And then there's the ruins next to the lake. Yeah, I was gonna wait for Leah to drive me there later today. Other than that, there's an old rusted pump up the road, but I don't know if that's actually from Echo's earlier days. Couldn't hurt to look. Where is it exactly? Kuduzu points over my shoulder up the road. Down past Duke's house, right before the convenience store. It's kinda hidden back in some brush, but I can take you there. Oh, if it's no trouble. It's fine, I've got plenty of time to do this today. Well, alright, thanks. Oh, go back. I shift the bag on my shoulder and stand to the side as Kuduzu tosses the clippers beside the bush, then starts walking towards the road. I follow him quietly, Again, feeling awkward under his no-nonsense attitude. So, you and Leo getting along? Yeah, we're having fun. My mind wanders back to the text messages and my stomach clenches. Good. He's been looking forward to this week for a while now. Oh, wouldn't shut up about it last week. I'm somewhat surprised at his Kuduzu filling the silence between us. Not that I'd mind. He's pretty damn good at it for such a somber guy. I smile. Yeah, that's Leo. He really misses our old pack. Or does he? Kudzu huffs a laugh. Wolves. I agree. Wolves. As we walk, I could smell the heavy musk coming from the raccoon mingled with his scent neutralizer. Evidence of a hard day's work. There's something special about hanging out with another musky creature. It makes you less self-conscious. So, I know you hate Peyton, but don't you have to go back there for work? Back in the day, I had a job studying desert plants after college. Good times. That would definitely put him a few steps above most everyone living in Echo, where a high school diploma is a rare thing. I'm a clerk in the town hall, so no, I'm pretty much always here. Always? Do you have a car? Sold it after I came here. Wow, don't you have to go out to shop for food? Sometimes. I grow and fish for what I can, and the convenience store has a surprisingly good produce section. But otherwise, Leo gives me rides once in a while. Ah, gotcha. Again, I'm curious about what exactly happened in Peyton. I'm gonna be going by tomorrow, and I don't find the question to be too intrusive, especially with all the information he's provided me so far. So, I don't want to be nosy. I let the statement hang for a moment, and Kudzu turns his head towards me. Then maybe you shouldn't ask. That stops me short, and I almost stop walking. Feel my face get warm even under the heat of the sun. I glance over at the raccoon, but his expression isn't accusatory or angry. It's just as neutral as it always is. It makes me wonder if this is just the raccoon's way of speaking. I already know how blunt he can be. I decide to trust what little I know about him and press forward. No? I ask it with the same straight face. Well, you should always ask yourself if asking something nosy is a good idea. No reason to do it if it's gonna piss someone off needlessly. But before I can even consider, Kudzu goes on. Now, consider what we were just talking about. I could probably guess what you were gonna ask. I can feel the embarrassment returning. Yeah? But before I answer it, I have a question for you. I shrink a little more into myself. Well, Furry, are you enjoying yourself? I see lots of hearts. Who are those hearts for? Ooh, are those hearts for me? Because I don't know if I can eat all those hearts. That's a lot of hearts to eat. It might give me indigestion. I shrink a little more to myself. Yeah? Why do you care? This question definitely catches me by surprise, and at first I wonder if this is just Kudzu's way of telling me to shut up. But again, after looking at his face, I decide to just tell him the truth. I clear my throat. Well, I like you. You're a cool guy. It comes out rather lamely, but it is the truth. He has a demeanor of not really giving a fuck about what others think of him. It's like Flynn, except Kudzu didn't seem like he was putting up a front at all. On top of that, he stepped in to stop a crowbar-wielding drug addict when he saw his friend in danger. Kudzu laughs genuinely. It's a bit startling. That's really the reason? I'm flustered again. Well, yeah. Fair enough. And I like you too. Leo was mostly right about you. What did Leo say about me? A lot of things, but you can't expect a wolf as love-spitting as he is not to exaggerate, can you? No, I guess not. I step on a particularly large rock and nearly lose my balance. Before I could even stumble, though, Kudzu's grasping my arm tightly, stopping me from running into him. Whoa! Sorry, and thanks. This raccoon had damn fast reflexes. No problem. I start to walk again, but Kudzu doesn't move. Oh. I didn't mean to. I stop and glance at him, but he's looking up the road, not at me. I lost someone to Peyton. Takes me a moment to realize what he's talking about, but then I do. By a guy with a gun who didn't give a fuck. I swallow and don't say anything, looking down at the ground. Happened on the same street we lived on. Of course I have no idea what to say and wait for Kudzu to go on. But he doesn't. When I look up, I see that he's looking right at me. I swallow. Yeah, that would make me want to move too. Yeah, people, man, there's less of them here. I'm sorry. Kudzu just looks back at me. Why? I open my mouth, but before I can say anything, Kudzu smiles. Kidding! I let my breath out in relief and laugh a little. Well, should we keep going? I make as if to walk up the road again, but Kudzu doesn't follow. When I look back, he nods at the brush on the side of the road. It's right in here. I wasn't expecting much, and I'm not disappointed as we come up on the pump. Mostly it's just a rusted piece of metal sticking out of the ground. Kudzu seems a bit put off by how lame it is himself. Smaller than I remember it being. Something at least. I'll get a few shots out of it. I start unpacking the camera from the bag, a bit reluctant to do it for something so insignificant. How'd you find this thing anyway? I look towards the road, which is basically hidden by the dense brush in front of me. Need to take a piss. I know my house is right there, but being outside is liberating. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go do that. He pauses. I can do it in front of the pump if you'd like, for effect. I force a laugh, wondering if this is the first time I've heard the raccoon make a joke. At least I hope it's a joke. My laugh turns to a groan, though, when I see the battery level. First my phone, now this? What's up? Kudzu asks from a bit deeper in the brush, facing away from me. My battery is low. I'm not gonna have enough for the school. I'll have to go back and grab a spare. Oh, well, why don't you finish the footage for the pump while I run back and grab you another battery? You sure? Well, yeah. It'll be faster. I've been in this house a few times. Where's it at? In a dock on his desk next to his computer. Alright, I'll be back. And with that, Kudzu jogs off out of the brush and back onto the road. Within a minute, I feel like I have all the footage I can get out of the pump. I sigh and rub my face, glad to at least be out of the sun, but annoyed that I've gotten so little footage for it. As I'm doing this, I hear what sounds like a gag behind me. I perk my ears and look back. I hear it again, but it's softer, more of a grunt this time. I'm almost positive that Kudzu didn't go that way, but I can't imagine who else it would be. Kudzu? I wonder if maybe the heat has gotten to him. I know how dangerous a heat stroke can be. Getting a little worried, I start moving further into the brush. Again, I hear a gag, and it's much louder this time. Cud! You alright? Oh no. I remember the hard stuff started happening, so I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I start pushing deeper with a bit more urgency, and not 20 yards in, I come into a clearing. The ground is covered in dead grass, and the sun hits me again with a vengeance. I blink furiously, eyes watering under the brightness of the clearing and the blazing red behind my eyelids. After a few seconds, I'm able to pry my eyes open. The first thing I notice is a peeling trailer to the right, pressed up into the trees. I have some vague memories of a trailer back here where a grumpy badger used to live. Straight in front of me in the meadow is a dead tree, one with dry, gnarled branches that twist up into the sky. The tree itself would be eerie enough, but it's what's under it that stops me dead. It takes a moment to comprehend what I see. Hanging from the lowest branch is a body, long and thin, emaciated down to the skeleton. I remain rooted to the spot, my mouth hanging open. Disgustedly, my mind immediately goes to the camera. I don't know why. Yeah, showing footage of a dead body to the whole class. Either I'd get an A for being edgy, or I'd fail for showing a fucking dead body. Probably expelled, actually. I feel my stomach starting to turn, and I'm finally able to take my first step back. But then it moves. It's a quick jerk, one of the skeleton's hands reaching up spasmodically to its neck before slumping back down. With my eyes fully adjusted to the sun now, I recognize the color of the fur, The build of that skeleton-like body. Clint! Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, because I remember he was talking. Because I remember he was... Remember Clint was mentioning about, like, this town and shit going on in the town. I'm wondering if he got killed by whatever's... Because there's... I don't know what's going on in the town, but I know there's something or someone haunting the town. And I'm like, When in steady feet, I managed to stumble forward and reach out towards the ringtail, aiming to at least hold him up until I could shout Kudzu over to help. Somehow, though, he's able to spin and face me, his face an expression of mortified fury. His eyes are almost glowing with how bloodshot they are, and his twisted muzzle is covered in drool, leaking down his chin onto his chest. Get back! Leave! What? Clint! What the hell are you doing? I move forward again, but Clint lashed out with a foot, hitting me in the knee. That's when I see his toes are touching the ground. At least barely. I stare in confusion and look back up to meet Clint's furious eyes. Fucking leave! Spit flies from his muzzle as I take a step back, completely at a loss for words. I don't... His bulging eyes move from mine to look over my shoulder, and his enraged expression melts, eyes growing wider. Slowly, I turn around and my vision is full of a mountain of brown fur. My eyes take a moment to draw out and focus, and when they do, I realize that I'm actually looking at a bear. A huge one, even for a bear. Huge, naked, and carrying a long, thin branch. The bear standing in the direction I'd come from, grinning stupidly. Oh god, is shit gonna start getting real now? What the hell is going on here? Oh, what's going on here? I'm very confused. Oh, jeez. Instinctively, I widened my stance, eyes looking left and right. All reason I seemingly left the land of Echo, and now my brain is left to try and put the pieces of the crazy place together. Oh, sorry, tongue-tied. I watch as a huge tongue sticks out from between the blubbery lips to lick at them, sliding slimily between the gaps of missing teeth. Once he's done with that, he breaks out into a grin again, those black lips shimmering under the sun. This a friend, cat? The weirdly high-pitched... he's high-pitched! The weirdly high-pitched voice is about as startling as his size. I look back at Clint, who's still struggling to stand on his toes, clutching at the rope now. So hard finding a good switch back there, but now it's worth it if there's two of you. The squeak that comes out of my muzzle seems to perk the bear's stubby ears, and he licks his lips again as he eyes me up and down. I should get going. Sorry about seeing... Words fail me as the bear takes a step forward, and I start sidestepping, preparing myself to make a run for it. The bear mimics my stance, and my stomach drops as I see him take another step forward. I change my trajectory and back away instead. This time he doesn't follow me, just grins as he watches me move back into the brush. Clint struggles on the end of his rope, twirling around lazily as he tries to get a foothold. I get one last look at his face as he spins around, and I'm struck by the expression. For a moment, I'm 9 years old again. 9 years old again, running behind the buildings on Main Street, probably from imaginary foreign agents of some kind. When I hide behind a tree next to Clint's house, I hear the screen door open, and for several minutes, I watch Clint breathing deeply into a rag. I'm too young to understand, but for some reason, I know it's not good. When I finally decide to run from my hiding spot, Clint looks up when we meet eyes. His are wide and wild, confused and hurt, just like now. I stumble into the brush, finally feeling like I'm far enough away to turn and really make a run for it. Kudzu is standing next to the pump when I get back, holding a battery. What? I grab his arm and yank him towards the road. Come on! I'm muttering under my breath before jogging down the road, Kudzu close behind me, looking over his shoulder. It's not until we're at the end of the road turning onto Main Street before I'm able to slow myself down and tell Kudzu what happened. Holy shit, that's Brian. Who? I'm still panting, sweating heavily in the heat after the short jog down the street. Big ass bear that lives in the brush, right? He has a trail in there. I don't know him. Did he move here after I left? I thought a badger lived in that trailer. I assume so. He was here when I got here. Well, what the fuck was he doing? What the hell did I just see? My mind is still trying to process it. I don't have the answer. Can't say I'm surprised, though. I'm imagining this bear and I'm terrified. Wait. what is it called? Asphyxiation, erotic asphyxiation? Is that the word? Is that what was happening? Or was he trying to kill? I'm very confused. Are you serious? That's like the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. Kudzu smirks. Well, I guess I would have to have been there, huh? I stare at him. Yeah, I guess. But from what I know of Brian, he's dumb and violent. Pretty sure he came here because he caused too much trouble in Peyton. It's Clint. That's the fucked up part. He's a fucking homophobe, but he's doing that shit? Oh yeah, it's definitely, it's erotic asphyxiation. That's what just happened. Okay, it's definitely, now I know what it is. Breath play, there we go. Breath play. That's another word for it. I don't know much about Clint either. What I do know is that Brian is a dealer. Oh, no, stop! No, I don't want to skip. Really? Well, really the entire town's dealer. It made sense that Clint would need one in Echo, considering his banned for life from driving after getting like 3 DUIs. But I thought Jeremy did that. Carl told me that's where he gets his weed. Kudzu shrugs again. I assume Clint is using more than just marijuana. Huh? It's becoming clear what kind of relationship Clint and the bear have. I shudder, just wishing that I hadn't had to witness it. I already feel bad for Clint. But now? Kudzu holds out the battery still in his hand. Wanna move to the school? Yeah, let's do that. The next hour is pretty uneventful, though. I do get enough footage to the point where I'm satisfied. Well, that shit's fucked up. Like I said, I have nothing to... All I'm gonna say is people are allowed to do what they want to do, but that stuff like that makes me worried, because I'm just like, people need to be careful when they do stuff like that, because it's very easy for somebody to die. That is not fun. People dying is not fun. There's a point where I notice Duke down the road. He stands there for a while watching us as I'm getting different angles of the school. It's annoying, but even though he's a complete fuck-up, he likes to pretend like he's in control of things in Echo. Probably just promoted himself to sheriff of the town in his mind, or something. I ignore him, though, and the next time I look up, he's gone. I turn my attention back to the project, finally able to calculate how much work I actually have left. Now most of my work is going to have to happen the night before the due date. I swallow, stomach churning at the thought. On the bright side, all the stress is pushing the memory of Clint being hanged and whipped out of my mind. Later on, I finally get another text from Leo just before my phone dies. Heading back. I'm hungry. We should meet at the diner. Sure. I invite Kudzu to come along, but he tells me that he can't stand diner food and that he was going to go fishing anyway. It's too bad, because I've really been enjoying this raccoon's company, and fishing sounds relaxing. I try to exchange numbers with the raccoon, but my screen dies the moment I turn it on. Kudzu takes my number, though, and promises to text me. I'm feeling better walking to the diner, but then I remember what happened with Leo, what I might have to do. Should I bring it up now? I don't even know where it will end up going. Could I even trust him again? Alright, and this is actually the part that I had gotten to before I was interrupted the last stream. So now this is completely new stuff. At least not in the diner when I get there. I pick a booth towards the back, resting my head against the patchy cushions and closing my eyes. The week's gone by so fast. It feels like only yesterday that we actually got here. Thinking back, I remember worrying that everything was going to be awkward, that our past would catch up in the worst way possible. And it kind of did. We didn't fix or talk about anything. That gives me a jolt of realization and sadness. This whole time I'd been preoccupied with Leo and Leo with me. Wasn't Leo the one that was all concerned about us not keeping the pack together? This send-off feels empty and pointless. It's really the last time I might get to hang out with some of them, mainly Jenna and TJ. And TJ had the most shit to air out. Did I fuck up by basically ignoring him this whole time? No need to worry, Chase. Well, no need to worry, Chase. This is a VN, so that means we can go to his route later and follow TJ's path. Which people tell me is heartbreaking. I have no spoiler. People told me it's heartbreaking. I feel a lump in my throat as I think about the hike I never went on with him. Sure, I'd figured things out with Leo, at least temporarily. Very temporarily, actually. Already things are in jeopardy again. But now it feels like things I should have talked about with the others have been buried further. Even though I haven't seen the others for a few days, I can feel the resentment, knowing that Leo and I got what we wanted. Or, at least, I thought I got what I wanted. Especially after leaving them to deal with the fallout of Flynn's meltdown. And now, because of that, it'll be harder to reach the root of the problem. Harder to talk about it. And because of that, we probably never will. I glanced at my dead phone, reminded of the complete lack of text from anyone other than Leo. I suppose this is life. Sometimes things are buried and never talked about again. And in a way, I guess that's for the best. Sydney's death will die with us. It just sucks that we all carry it, but can't rely on each other for support. I take a deep breath, wondering how long it will take me to process this whole trip. Or maybe my entire life up to this point. It's at this point that I notice Janice hasn't come up to take my order. The diner itself is completely quiet. No old rockabilly coming over the staticky speakers. I look around wondering if maybe the place is closed. I remember a few businesses didn't lock their doors. Mostly because of negligent employees, because burglary is somewhat common here. I look through the plastic window in the swinging door to the kitchen past the counter and notice that the fluorescent lights are definitely on. In fact, it looks like I can see some movement from shadows on the wall. I think about getting up and knocking on the door to let them know I'm here, but that's when the front doors push open. Leo comes in, a big grin on his face. Chula. My stomach twists as he sweeps up to my side, and I can't help but jerk it away when he kisses at my cheek. He pulls back, frowning. Chase? I sigh, not able to meet his eyes. Leo, I need to talk to you about something. Immediately, I can see the worry in his eyes. He steps back, watching me. What? Sit down. Why? Leo asks, but sits down anyway. First off, I had to tell him that I looked at his fucking phone, and that's bad enough. I look to the right, heart pounding. Otter, what is it? His voice is soft, but I can hear the slight tremble in it. Leo, I looked at your phone. What? I jump as Leo's hackles rise, and he bares his teeth. It's not an angry reaction, more defensive, fearful. Leo, why the fuck would you do that? I shrink back, looking down as I listen to his breathing pick up. I'm sorry, but you know what I saw. Fuck, man. Leo puts his face in his hands, which gives me an opportunity to look up. His ears are down, drooping towards the table. Why did you do that? I wait while Leo continues to hide his face, his body rocking. Not now. Not now what? You can't do this to me now, not after. I didn't do anything. You're the one texting people that I don't give a fuck about them. His head snaps up then, and I can see his eyes glistening. I didn't say that. Just said you were busy. And what you said to TJ? No. I'm gonna save TJ for last, because I've heard a lot of people tell me that TJ should be my last round I play. So TJ's will be last. Everybody else, though, I'm gonna get people to vote for who I do next after Leo. I don't know how long Leo's route is. I know everybody. I don't know if Janice's route is done now. I think, as far as this VN goes, everybody's route is completely finished except for Janice. I don't know if her route's been finished yet now or not, though, at the point of this video, now that I'm playing. I know they claimed that it was going to be done by December, which it is December, but I don't know if it's been postponed or what. I haven't really kept up to date with the VN, I'm going to be honest with you, for the past, 2 months, so. I haven't kept up with much of any of the Echo project. After I finished the Dasher, I just wanted to take a break. I haven't paid attention to... I know I still got to play the Smoke Room. I know there's another VN he's working on. It's the whole thing. Leo winces at that one, and he slumps back into his booth, his face dejected, desperate. Please, Chase, just try to understand. What? I let some anger into my voice, wanting to show Leo that I'm not going to forgive him just because he's sad. And I think he realizes that because his face changes, lips barred out of anger this time. Yeah, I'm really fucking guilty, aren't I? Yeah, you are. Says the asshole that just ditches me, avoids me, won't talk to me. I don't say anything in response. And you wonder why I'm fucked up about this. You're the one that just walked out and left me. I was young. Yeah, you keep saying that like you're not young now. If you had actually dumped me then, maybe I wouldn't be this fucking messed up about it. The last sentence escalates into a scream, and I flatten back into the booth, glaring up at him. Leo never hurt me before, and I'm not afraid he will now. I've endured plenty of his tantrums. Do you know how crazy this makes you look? Oh, great, you too. I'm serious. This is fucking unacceptable. I'm drawing the line here. Leo's startling face turns up, and that's when I hear movement behind me. I turn in my seat and see Janice striding out from behind the counter, the kitchen door swinging shut behind her. Janice? Leo's fur flattens back down like he's forgotten all about our argument. It makes sense why. Something's wrong. Janice had been acting strange all week, gradually looking more haggard and pissed off as time went on. Of course, I hadn't forgotten what had happened on the side of the road a few days back. But I've been content with just assuming it had been some type of drug-fueled adventure of hers. Each route goes... No, I know, Tendo. I know that each route goes on for 1 week. I know each route goes on for 1 week. I was talking about, like, actually being complete in the sense of, like, actually being finished. Because, like I said, I've really been keeping up to date besides the... Which I still want to know how the creator throws the VNs like they do. It's ridiculous. Because it's like, every time I'm like, alright, I'm like, they're probably going to take a break. They're like, oh, I'm making another VN. Oh, Echo Project just keeps throwing VNs out there. I'm like, how do you do it? I don't get it. I'm like, where are you getting your money from? Where do you get your money and your resources from? Let me rephrase that. Now I'm convinced she's having a mental breakdown. Her fur is boosted up on every inch of her body. Her eyes are wild and wide, similar to I'd seen Clint earlier. Blood is smeared across her apron, and the handle of a knife sticks out of the front pocket. Janice, are you okay? Leo's half standing. I'm not sure if it's because he's afraid for her or of her. She doesn't say anything, and as she sidles up next to our booth, I slide a bit towards the inside. Under her wild gaze, I'm feeling a little trapped. Janice? Why all the shouting? Why all the shouting, little impatient? Well, let me take your order and I'll get you settled. Are you okay? Are you cooking? Leo gazes up at her apron. Yes, I'm cooking today. What can I make you? I get the unnerving feeling that she isn't even looking at us. Leo glances back at me, to which I respond with a bewildered look of my own. You know, I think we might... Nonsense! I've got everything fried up in the kitchen. Leo doesn't respond, just stares at the big coyote. Janice smiles crookedly. Well, if you're not going to order something, then I'll just make your favorite. With that, she turns and starts waddling off, having not even acknowledged me. What the fuck? I reach into my pocket thinking about calling an ambulance for the poor woman until I remember my dead phone. I whisper over to Leo. Should we leave? Maybe. But Leo doesn't move, just stares after Janice. I look out the window to the sun-baked road. Have you noticed that something's off? About Janice? No shit. Not just her, the whole town. I think about mentioning the meadow with Clint and Brian. I'm still trying to absorb that myself. Leo sits back, still looking back at the kitchen door where Janice disappeared. Honestly, people act so crazy here. I don't know if it's because of drugs or because they're actually crazy. I see his nose twitch. And I don't think she knows how to cook. Something smells funny in there. I look back out the window, wondering if I should bring up our argument again. That scene with Janice has totally thrown me off, and I'm reluctant to waste more energy on yelling. It has to be brought up again somehow. We can't just let this sit. It's clear that it's exactly what Leo wants, though, so I huff and stare out the window. This fucking town. I haven't been paying much attention to it in the past few days, being too infatuated with Leo. Sure, I'd seen some weird things, but it seems in my absence, everyone's going to the fucking wacky shack. Jesus Christ, they have what? Holy crap. 1746. Wow. GG to any VN creators. Oh my gosh. How? 1700? Oh yeah, they're right. Oh yeah, that team's racking in the money. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of money. That's like what the level of like indie video game. That's what the level of indie video games. Like when people are like, yeah, I'm leaving this big development team to make my own video game. That's like on the level of that. Yeah, I know about Glory Hounds. Chemi I knew about. That started. Glory Hounds I knew about. Arches is what I was thinking about. I was like, and they haven't even the only VN they finished is Adastra. Chemi is the sequel to Adastra, which I'll play eventually. Glory Hounds, I'm not sure. Glory Hounds didn't really seem like something I'd be interested in. Arches, I know Arches related to Echo. Wow, that's a lot. Oh my gosh. Like, what the hell? Wow. Sure, I'd seen some weird things, but it seems my absence everyone... Okay, I read this. I look at Leo. Have you been noticing any of this weird shit going on? Leo sighs. Again, I never know what's weird or not here. I guess I've noticed a few things. I frown. Were you just hoping I wouldn't notice? Leo doesn't say anything. Instead, he just goes on staring at the kitchen. Would he really just let me blindly move to this town when he knew everyone was going crazy? Looking out the window, I notice a figure moving up the street jogging. A feline... TJ? Is that Teach? Leo glances out the window. Looks like it. Out for a jog, of course. The wolf turns his attention back to the counter as Janice comes out, a messily dribbling milkshake in her hand. Hey, Janice, what are you cooking back there? I glance at the crazy coyote as she wobbles over to us, staring at the milkshake with wide eyes. Oh, you know, meat. Leo lets out a hollow laugh. What kind of meat? I'll be honest with you, it's a bit tough and stringy. I lose interest in their conversation and instead look back out at TJ. I feel like something's off for sure. He's a ways away, but he looks kind of afraid. One of his hands reaches out to bat at something. Something's wrong. I mutter it under my breath and start to stand, set on getting out there to see what's going on with him. But at that moment, a truck pulls into the parking lot right in front of our window. I find myself staring right at Duke. I also see something big in the back of his pickup, a brown furred head poking out over the roof. Duke. Leo snaps his head over to look out the window. As the weasel goes out of his truck, I see something in his hand. A gun. Shit. Language, Leo. He's bringing in a gun. Oh my gosh. What's going on in this town? What is going on in this town? Oh, definitely, wholeheartedly, Tendo. I completely agree with you. Adastra, I think Adastra is probably... You know what? You guys know how I feel. Yeah, but you know why? Because Adastra has a much better art style. I like Echo's. Me personally, I like Echo's art style. But Adastra has a better art style, and let's be plain and honest. Freaking Amicus Husbando. Wolf Husbando. I mean, everybody's down for that. So that's probably the major reason why people love Adastra. I don't think the story was terrible, but I think there was a lot of pacing issues with it, and I wish they would explain it a little more. But maybe that's what Kemi is for. But I'm of a firm believer that I'm a firm believer that if I'm playing something, shit's about that fair. I'm a firm believer that if I'm reading a story or playing something, I shouldn't have to wait for the sequel to get answers. A sequel should always expand on what was already explained and give better context and possibly new questions to ask. Instead of saying, oh yeah, you know all these questions that were asked in the first one that we didn't really answer, we'll answer them in the second one. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't really kind of like that. That's me though. That's just me personally. I don't like that kind of stuff. But with that being said, though, I do think Adastra's pretty good. I have been loving Echo so far. Kemi I will play eventually. That's all. Smoke Room, I've heard a lot of people give positive reviews on that, so I don't know. I've told people before I was working on a VN, but I'm taking a break because right now I'm at a point where I need an artist. So with all seriousness, if anybody's interested in making some art, I have a demo idea going on. If anybody would be interested in possibly doing some character sprites, very, very little character sprites, feel free to talk to me in private. I would love to see your art and possibly talk about it. Because I have come up with a great idea. I decided what I'm going to do for a demo, and I figure it'll be a lot easier to do a demo that's not directly tied into the game than trying to make the VN from scratch. So that's my current plans right now while I do some writing for that. Nivik, you say shit is about to hit the fan. I believe you, because things are getting really weird now. Leah reaches across the table for me. Come on. Not while I'm here. Janice. But she's already striding over to the doors just as Duke pushes through them. Chase, get down. But Duke spots us immediately. I told you not to fucking run away from me. He starts towards our table, but Janice on her way towards the kitchen intercepts him. Duke, is that a gun? I am not gonna have you barging in here to ruin the peace. She sticks her bulky body in his way. Get the fuck out of my way, cunt. Language. It's as if Janice doesn't notice that there's a fucking gun being waved around right next to her face. I reach out and grab Leo's arm, trying to pull him down. Call the police, my phone's dead. Leo slowly sits and looks around. The only exit is at the front. We're trapped. You don't think those fuckers are behind all of this? You've been seeing that out around here too, haven't you? I'm not concerned with that anymore. I've made things right. You're not fucking concerned that what happened to our grandparents is happening to us? I won't ask you to leave again. Her voice is threatening. From this angle, I can see her hands, but I can see she's reaching for something. I can't see her hands. Oh my god. Chase, get down. Leo's voice is bizarrely calm, but as he reaches over to me, I can feel him shake. He presses down on my shoulder, and as I'm about to slide under the table, I see Janice move forward, then... Oh, fuck, somebody... Well, alright, shit got real. Somebody just got shot. Holy crap, Tendo. Hold on, I gotta read this. We were talking about how Adastra is definitely more popular, the most popular out of all of them. So, Echo has 390 ratings. Smoke Room has 229 ratings. Kemia has 143 ratings. Adastra has 916. Yeah, definitely, yeah. I'm sorry, but Adastra definitely tells me when it comes to furry VNs, people are more worried about if you have a hot character than if the game's actually good. Again, not saying Adastra is bad. I don't think it's a terrible VN. I've played a lot worse. But I do think, for the most part, it's rather average. Great concept, poor execution. Wonderful concept, poor execution, and a main character that is about as interesting as a bowl of plain pudding. Being honest here. And that is literally why everybody loves Adastra. Like, oh man, Amicus is so hot. Adastra is the best VN ever. It's like, why does it have to be that as soon as you have a sexy character, having a sexy character does not mean something's good. It really doesn't. I think Amicus is a decent character, but I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it because, hey, you know, I'm happy for the Echo Project. I'm happy for Howley for getting all the stuff he's getting off the ground, but I just don't think when it comes to Adastra, it's as well deserved as it gets. I cover my head and cower against the booth under the table. Liam shouts and yanks me up against his side, covering me with his arms. Iron breathes heavily into my ear, and I stare wide-eyed from under the booth, only able to see the dirty beige wall opposite us. Leo's breathing is all I can hear. Otherwise, it's silent. Then I hear Duke muttering something under his breath, followed by soft padding footsteps. A few seconds later, his legs come into view and his feet turn in to face us. I see the gun dangling from one hand before he raises it slightly, pointing it at us. I close my eyes. How did this happen? Just seconds ago, Leo and I were arguing, and now I'm about to fucking die. I keep my eyes tightly closed, hugging Leo as hard as I can and wait. But nothing happens. I keep my face pressed to Leo's chest, though, wondering if I'm already dead. Finally, Duke speaks. Leo? Leo out. Ada, you stay there. I feel Leo hesitate against me, then his lips press against my ear. It'll be okay, baby. Just stay here. Slowly, he untangles my arms from around him, then with his hands up, he pushes out from under the table and stands up. Face the wall. Leo hesitates and Duke growls. I ain't gonna fucking kill you. We're just figuring out what's happening is all. Killing you doesn't fix anything. The last guy got killed, and that didn't fix shit. You shot Janice. 'Cause she got in my fucking way. But it don't matter. Everything's fucked up now. Well, that's an obvious one. I mean, that's not just furries. I mean, you can look at the anime subculture itself. The anime subculture is literally, ooh, hot big breasted girls means it's a good anime, and it's like, no, it doesn't. It does not at all. Even furry anime. I told people I watched BNA, and I don't think BNA deserves all the praise it gets. I'm sorry. I think the art and animation are fantastic. The story itself was stupid. I hated BNA. I'm going to say it here. Fallenwolf did not like BNA, and I think the biggest reason it gets a lot of praise is because of the art, which it deserves, and the fact of the main character. Just gonna throw that out there. But hey, it's fine. It's really no skin off my back, honestly. Leo turns to face the wall slowly. I watch from the space between the table and the booth. What do you want? To fix this fucking town. You're starting something with this otter. This has all happened before. Duke looks out the window and makes a come on motion with his hand. We're gonna stop it from happening this time. Leo looks to the left. But you fucking killed Janice. I hear the wolf's voice break slightly. Won't matter in the long run. The door rattles as someone comes in. You got the zip ties? Hands behind your back, Leo. Leo looks at whoever just came in. Come on. Now! Slowly, Leo does as he's told, and I see a pair of massive paws reach forward and bind the wolf's wrists. I swallow hard as I watch Brian. Oh, this is fucking Brian? I swallow hard as I watch Brian pull the zip tie tight. Oh, I can't talk. Duke puts a forearm to his nose. Fuck, you stink. I hope you didn't kill that ringtail. We could use him. Brian just grins in response, his teeth yellow. My heart sinks as I think about Clint. Had he been warning me to run? Why did I thought that him hanging from the tree like that was probably just a normal thing for him and the bear? Was he a victim of whatever crazy had just hit the town? That must have been what was going on. All of this is hitting at once. It can't be a coincidence. Yeah, me too, Tendo. I like to be, sorry, I'm not trying to distract too much from this. Me too. I like B-Stars more than BNA. BNA, I really did, I think BNA was really great with the animation and the art. BNA, I'm not saying is bad. What I didn't like about BNA was there was a lot of plot holes, and a lot of plot consistency issues, a lot of them. I watched it by myself, and I said this, but then I told my friend about it, and I said, hey, we should watch BNA. He watched it with me, and we both said the same thing. We were like, there are a lot of plot holes in this series that they constantly are trying to fix. That was my issue with BNA. BNA itself, the concept itself was amazing. I love the concept. I love the world. But there were so many plot holes that don't make any sense. Also, I really hate a god tier main character. And that can be said for a lot of anime. That show had a god tier main character that nothing could ever hurt them. And basically what I'm saying is when you have a story, when you have any sort of story, any sort of media that contains a main character, if you have a main character that is so powerful, then you're not going to be worried for them because you know that they're so powerful, nothing is going to give them a challenge or nothing is going to defeat them. And BNA had that issue badly, so badly with Suichi. Oh my gosh, wrong person. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of his name right now. The main character. The main character was so god tier level that nothing could hurt them. Like, they're like, oh, I'm fine. Anything that happened to them, I was never worried because I'd seen in the first few episodes that no matter what happened, they were never going to have a challenge. And that's exactly what happened. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it, along with the fact that there was a lot of plot consistency issues. If you like BNA, I'm glad. And I do hope BNA gets a second season to see maybe if they'll fix some of those issues. But yeah, Beastars to me was better in the sense of they really try to stick with what lore they're referring to. Yes, One Punch Man, that's the whole concept of the show. It's about a character that is unbeatable, but that's the point of the show. It's not like, and they do it in a very well way that makes it interesting. But anyway, let me go back to this. One Punch Man, yeah, is the only show that has an overpowered protagonist that it's good that it has an overpowered protagonist because that's the main premise of the story. Anyway, back to this. Clint was probably just as scared as I am now. Grab the otter and tie him up too. Just stick him in your trailer for now. My stomach drops. Duke gestures with his gun again. Come on. Come on, out. My legs are limp. I can't move. Leo looks over his shoulder at me, and the fear in his eyes scares me even more. His muzzle moves, mouthing something. Run. But still, I can't move. I've never been so scared in my life. It's like everything is numb. Brian doesn't care, though. He moves forward, the look on his face eager. The gun goes off again. Everyone, including Brian, jumps, and I hit the floor with my hands over my head. Fuck! Fuck! Oh, no! Oh, he's going crazy. Oh, he's going crazy. I look up and see Duke, eyes extra wild, dancing around, pointing the gun upwards at the ceiling. Fuck, you see that? She's crawling around up there. I told you she was on my ceiling every night watching me. Brian's looking up too, and for the first time, his face is twisted into an expression that isn't stupidly grinning. It's full of fear. But when I look up, I see nothing. Chase. Leo hisses at me, and that jolts me back to reality. Without even willing myself to do it, I shoot out from under the table. In front of me are two exits. The front doors and the kitchen door, which is closer. There has to be an exit in the kitchen, but I'm not sure of that. My legs are already making me run, though, and I have to choose now. Oh, fuck! Oh, guys, what should I choose? I don't know which choice to make. Alright, I don't know. Where should I go? Where should we go? Should I go to the kitchen door or should I go to the front doors? The front door seems like the safe option, but that's also very easy to follow me. The kitchen door seems like it'd be harder to chase after me, but like he said, there's a chance that there's nothing back there. Or, I don't know what the state of I don't know what the state of the kitchen is. Oh, man. What should I choose? Guys, please. Guys, help me choose. I don't know. I don't know what to choose. I seriously want people to help me with this because I really don't know what choice is better. I don't know what choice is better. And that way I can blame all you. I'll be like, oh, it's your fault that we made this choice. Alright, one person said front door. Alright, what else do we got? What other choices? Oh, I'm worried. I don't know which way I'm going. Kitchen. There's what? Okay, two people said kitchen, one person said front door. Alright, 30 more seconds. Alright. I got two saying I should run to the kitchen door, and one person said to go to the front door. Alright, 10 more seconds, and then I'm making a choice. And I'm hoping it's the right choice. Okay. I'm going through the kitchen. Oh, I should probably save. Oh, wait, I think I saved before. Oh, I did save before. Okay. Kitchen door. I have no idea how long Duke will be distracted, so I dive behind the counter for my closest exit. Don't look back, Chase. Just go as fast as you can. Shit, he's getting away, Brian! I push past the swinging door and immediately slip. One moment I'm standing, and then next I'm lying on the ground, face sticking from the smack to the tile. I stare blearily at the ground, forcing myself to move again, but it's still so slippery. At first I think the tiles are just red, but when the overpowering metallic scent hits my nose, I realize it's more than that. Blood is everywhere, and now I'm covered in it. I sob, wondering if the nightmare I'm in is going to end when the paralysis will hit me. Fuck, get off of me! I force myself to move because I need to get the fuck out of here, dream or not. I slip and slide along the tile, trying to stand, almost failing. I manage to grab the metal counter and yank myself up. And then I'm standing over the counter and over what's on top of it. A pile of meat. I can see the fur, but it's a mound of unrecognizable parts. Butchered. Something cooks on the stove. My stomach churns and I heave, but there's nothing in me to come up. Oh gosh. Oh, I knew it. So she killed somebody. She killed somebody who was cooking them. Oh, jeez. A bang behind me forces me to turn to my right. I see the mountainous form of Brian charge through the door. He slips immediately, but his momentum still takes him forward and he reaches out for me. Next thing I know is that I've been hit by a car and I'm flying back. I stop short of hitting the ground thanks to the wall behind me and my head explodes. Whoa, no. Let's try the front door. Nope, front doors. No, I'm not having it end like that. Front doors. Alright, Nivik, take care. Thank you for stopping by. We're gonna try the front door. I have no idea if that kitchen has an exit and there's no way I can risk it. Don't look back, Chase. Go as fast as you can. Okay, I read this. And I charge down the aisle, almost trip over the large form of Janice. She's lying on her stomach, hands outstretched. A smear of red leads to the knife a few feet in front of her. I don't have time to dwell on it as I leap over her body and charge through the doors. The bright sun and heat contrast heavily with the cool dimness of the diner, but I don't have time to wait for my eyes to adjust. I take off down the road and a few seconds later I hear the doors smash as something larger and heavy comes right after me. I don't look back. I gasp and wheeze as I run up the road and turn onto Leo Street. No one's around, and aside from the dull thumping some distance behind me, it's completely silent. Something terrible has happened. And not just in the diner, the entire town. I'm not sure why I decided to run for Leo's house, but my mind is numb and reasoning is gone. Briefly, I think about Kudzu, but as I run past his yard, I don't see any sign of him. I don't have any time to try his door. I slam into Leo's door, pushing it open as I do. I slam it back shut and lock it with a deadbolt, then take off down the hall for Leo's room. Oh god, I hear the doorknob turning back and forth as something heavy slams into it. I don't even know if Leo has a landline, and I look left and right wildly, not spotting a single thing that might be a telephone. I reach Leo's room and shut the door, wishing it had a lock. Jumping to the outlet with my wall charger, I clumsily take my phone out of my pockets. It takes 3 tries to successfully jam the damn thing in my phone. Bouncing with terror, I watch as the screen lights up, giving me the battery charging symbol. Not enough power for it to power on. Something shatters just down the hall, and I almost piss myself. It's followed by silence. I don't dare to even breathe. And then the house seems to shake as the bear ambles about looking for me. I get down on my knees and try to squeeze up under the desk. I look down at my phone again, but it's still at 0%. I'm out of time. The door swings open with a crash, oh god, and the bear spots me instantly. He rushes at me and I let out an involuntary scream. I dive out from under the desk as soon as he's on top of me and try to roll away. He's big but slow as hell, and I manage to get to my feet. It's at that moment that I remember Leo's gun. But just as my eyes flick in that direction, he lunges at me and swings a huge fist at my face. I jerk back, but he's still close to my chin, sending me into a spin in my world into blackness. I stare at the floor, mind wandering in circles. There's heavy breathing above me, and as I get to my hands and knees, something impacts my side so hard it sends me rolling into the wall. I stare at the ceiling, lungs broken, as I writhe around for air. The bear obscures my vision, then reaches down to grab me by the shirt and yank me up. He stares at me, and I stare back before he swings me into the wall again, and my vision goes dim. He does it again, then again. On the 5th swing, the dimming finally turns to black. Damn it, we didn't win. Ah, oh, damn it. Alright, damn it, so it doesn't matter, apparently. I was like, oh, damn it. I was hoping that, like, we could get away. Yes, I did save. Wait, let me see something real quick. I'm gonna load something real quick. I'm gonna see something. I'm gonna see if it is the exact same thing or not. Blah, blah, blah. We did all the skip. Because the only thing we got for this one was that... Okay, I don't think anything happened different. I don't think it changes anything. It doesn't look like it... Nope, stop. Kitchen door. It doesn't look like it changed anything. Wait, no, I didn't say... The front door, sorry. Okay, so nothing really changes. Oh, too far. Where am I going? Okay, it's the exact same thing. It's just slightly different variations, but pretty much the same thing. Okay. The darkness that surrounds me is painful. I feel like I'm floating in a black sea, and nothing about it is comforting or peaceful. It's like a fitful doze when you have a really bad fever. It feels awful and murky and sick. I feel my head tilt back and a lightning bolt arches through my head. I try to open my eyes, but they only manage to flutter, and I see flashes of red above me. Something is hooked up under my back, and I'm dangling from it. I imagine a rope tied around me, holding me above the dark abyss below. Is this hell? I grit my teeth, and the searing red becomes too much to look at, and I close my eyes again. This must be a nightmare, one that feels too real. I've had them before, and I know how to deal with them. Just need to go back to sleep, to drift off, and I'll wake before... I'll wake up. I'll wake back in my bed. Go back to sleep and wake up back in my dorm. Alright, everyone, give me like 2 seconds. Be right back. Alright, everyone, I am back. Oh, man. You know what I just thought about is Leo... tell me that Leo's not dead. I'm just thinking about that now. I'm like, does that mean Leo died? Wait, an echo? I try to probe back into my memories. Where was I last? What was the last thing that I remember doing? Trying to remember is monumental. More than I can handle. Unfortunately, I drift back into unconsciousness. I'm pulled back into the sickly dark as something jolts my body. I grimace and gasp. I'm filled with such a feeling of unprovoked loneliness and despair that I actually feel my eyes watering and a sob escapes my mouth. I hear a soft chuckle above me and I go quiet. I still don't know where I am or what's going on at all, but that laugh is enough to tell me that I don't want to be where I am. The feeling of hanging from a rope is gone now. Instead, I'm lying on something flat and hard and my arms and legs are spread out. The air is cool now and my skin is cold and wet like I've been sweating a lot. The feeling is especially strong along my back and I want to roll over, but I can't. Something is holding my arms down and there's this rattling sound when I try to move. I moan as I try to open my eyes again, though it's almost like they're glued shut. With a little more effort, I manage to crack one open. At first, all I see is a blur of colors above me, and I have to blink a few times to clear it. Slowly, the image comes together, and I'm able to make out that someone is there above me. Why does that look like Chase? Like evil Chase? That's worrisome. Feel my blood run cold, realizing that someone has been watching me this whole time. But I'm lying down. How is someone on the ceiling? I try to speak, but only a dry, cackling squeak comes out of my throat. At this point, my vision is cleared enough to make out an otter. An otter? I squint. A blue shirt? Beige pants? I gasp and reflexively try to draw back from the thing. Was it me? It smiles. It's missing my goatee. How? The flat surface I'm lying on tilts precariously and my stomach lurches. I try to clutch at the surface, though there's nothing to grab onto. I shut my eyes and gag as I feel my stomach swirling around inside me. All I can do is pray for it to stop, feeling like everything around me is about to fall over. The ache in my head is magnified tenfold and tears start to leak from my eyes. Just when I think I'm about to slip off the face of the earth, the ground starts to tilt back the other way. I swallow and gasp for air, my entire body shaking and sweating all over again. I feel like I've been swimming too long and my body is exhausted. What the hell is going on? I remember that someone was staring down at me from the ceiling, and I open my eyes again, fearful. I cringe as I see that some otter staring down at me. As I see that same otter staring down at me, the otter that's clearly wearing the same clothes as I am. But now it's not smiling. A tear-stained expression is on its face. It's a mirror. A mirror on the ceiling? I try to sit up, but come up short, gagging, and something tightens around my neck. I try to move my hands to whatever it is, and that doesn't work either. That same rattling sound I heard earlier makes me look towards my right hand, and what I see makes my blood freeze. Around my wrist is what looks like a leather strap. Oh, shit's getting real dark in here. I desperately look to my other hand and find the same result. Looking at my feet, I see the same contraptions fixed to my ankles. When I try to lift one of my feet, I see metal glinting from underneath, making me think that the leather is bolted into the platform. Panic rises up in my chest and I kick my feet and try to flail my hands, but the straps hold firm into what looks like wooden planks. The platform that I'm lying on, they're arranged in a way to leave me spread eagle. Over the leather, I can smell all kinds of musk, through the strongest one reminds me of Clint. I try to lift up my head, but the thing around my throat is too tight and instantly makes me choke again. My head throbs. Tears start to form in my eyes again as I try to think back. Where the fuck am I? Is this a prank of some kind? Maybe my friends in the dorm trying to scare me. Had I been drinking at a party? No, wait, I'm in Echo. That's the last place I remember being. I'm here for a project and I've been with my old friends. I was with Leo and I'd been at the diner. Suddenly all of the horrible things that had happened that day come rushing back. Janice, Clint, Brian, the gun. Oh my god. Had that really happened? I struggle a bit more than try to think. I had run to Leo's house. Leo, I don't know what happened to him. I left him with Duke. And then Brian, he'd been chasing me and he tried to break in. I start to breathe heavily again as I realize where I might be. Brian got into the house when I was in Leo's room. He attacked me. I look around. I'm in a small room, what looks like a living room of some kind. There's a couch to my right and a wall with a clock on it to the left ticking away. There's windows too, and along with the ticking, the wind blowing outside is the only other sound that I can hear. Looking down towards my legs, I can see what looks like a tiny kitchen with some cupboards and a countertop. Dishes and junk are piled high along the length of the counter, and it smells like cigarette smoke. Judging by the layout and size of the place, it looks like I'm in a trailer home. A small moan of terror escapes my lips. I'm in Brian's house. I remember Cud telling me that he lived in one. Tears start leaking out of my eyes again, even though the crying is making my head throb all over again. All I can think about is what he was doing to Clint. No. I have to calm down. I don't want to... Oh, jeez. I don't want to attract any attention if he's actually nearby. After what happened in the diner, the cops have to be on their way if they aren't already here. People eat in the diner all the time. One of my friends probably, would find it and call someone. I just have to wait until they find me. I swallow again, feeling my body break out into a cold sweat all over again. What is going on? They wanted something from us. I remember that, at least. But what? Duke had been saying something about seeing things and that we might be responsible. I squeeze my eyes shut and shake my head, but then immediately stop when my head throbs from the movement. None of this makes any sense at all. Am I still dreaming? At that moment, I hear a soft mumbling in the distance through the thin walls of the trailer. I freeze and hold my breath. It's a little ways off, but I'm almost positive that it's Duke. The high, weaselly whine mixed with the occasional smoker's cough is unmistakable. It's coming closer, and I can start to make out what he's saying. Because we're already fucked here. You think we could just let him go and it'll all be fine? I don't know who he's talking to, but the sound of an accompanying heavy lumbering step gives me an idea. It's worth it, though. If we can figure out what the fuck is going on. Oh my gosh, what's going on? I want to know what's going on. It sounds like they're right up against the trailer now. I can hear them walking around it towards the small door on the right side of the kitchen. Leo ain't saying shit yet, but I think it might be the otter. He's the one I seen last week. The footsteps stop in front of the door, and I listen hard, my heart pounding in my chest. I hope you haven't done anything to him. I didn't. Brian's uncharacteristically high-pitched voice sends a chill up my spine, my fur flaring out with it. You bet your ass you haven't. Have you do any of your fucked up shit to him? I stop breathing, staring at my terrified expression in the mirror. What I'm saying is, we still got a chance to get out of this. What we've done is bad enough, but if we could get him to understand... They stop talking, and that's when I can hear Brian's heavy, labored breathing. I'm not breathing at all, worried that they'll be able to hear it, even though they already know I'm here. I let it out with a gasp as the door suddenly swings open and Duke comes up the steps, looking around before spotting me. Brian, you are one sick fuck. I tense up as a massive shadow appears behind him, and he feels like the entire trailer tips a bit as Brian makes his way up the same steps. Brian's presence is so imposing and frightening that I don't even notice that Duke is now right next to me. I jump when he sets his hand on my left arm. I jerk my head to look at him wide-eyed. Hey, calm down. We ain't gonna hurt you. Brian chuckles and Duke shoots him a look. He turns his attention back to me, softening his expression, at least as much as he can with his scraggly, drug-fucked face. We just need to get some information from you. You need to get some information from me. That's why you knocked me out, right? And tied me up? Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, this gets bad. Oh, I should probably save the... When people say that, save. No. Right here. No, I don't like people saying that. Open my mouth to speak, but all that comes out is this dry squeak. Brian chuckles again and makes his way to stand to my right. I cringe away from him in the stench of old sweat as he grins down at me with his yellow teeth. Brian, get some fucking water. Brian looks at Duke with a strange face before turning back to the kitchen. Hey, don't worry about him. I know this thing. Duke taps one of the boards with a finger. Looks bad, but we just gotta hold you here for a bit. He's a queer. Oh, that's Brian. He's a queer. He likes it. Oh gosh. This is worrisome. Oh, I don't like this. Duke glares at him as Brian comes back from the kitchen with a ceramic mug. You're queer too. Brian visibly bristles on his face, lose any of the sick humor it once had. Duke clears his throat. Things have been happening here, and we want to find out why. What? The Duke furrows his brow like a kid trying to figure out something difficult. You see, people ain't right in the head here. No shit. Duke seems to immediately read my thought process because he holds up his hands and shakes his head. Yeah, I know. What we're doing ain't exactly right in the head either. Brian gives his dumb chuckle again, but I keep my face averted from him, partly because I really can't stand the smell. But we're all a little fucked up here. What I'm talking about is something else, like what you saw with Janice. I shift a little as I'm reminded about what happened in the diner. Is she dead? Duke looks genuinely sad. I don't know, and it's a damn shame, but you saw the way she came at me. That's the shit I'm talking about. You came at her with a gun. People don't always act rationally when a gun's waved in their face. I mean, for the most part, people usually act very defensively. I mean, not defensively. People act very cautiously and fearful, but some people get defensive. I mean, that's why you always, whenever somebody waves a gun, there's only that one person that jumps for the gun, because a gun, when you put a gun into an equation, people are not gonna act rational all the time. I look at the weasel's waistband and immediately see the handgun tucked into his pants there. Well, we're not getting out. And I was hoping to stop it before any of this happened, but nah. Everything's going to shit. Brian finishes for him, and I can feel him move closer to the platform I'm lying on. Again, I avoid eye contact, not want to provoke him in any way. Yep, and it's only gonna get worse. Duke just looks at me like that's all the information that I need. I don't know what you're talking about. I see a twitch of irritation in Duke's face, and I hold my breath. I mean, what's happening out there? Duke shakes his head. What's happening everywhere? It wasn't just Janice that lost her mind. Duke looks back at the window, suddenly his fur standing on end. I look too, but all I see are the leaves and branches, the late afternoon sun filtering through them. Duke's quiet for a while before he starts speaking again without turning around. It happened to my granddaddy, my daddy, now it's happening to me. I close my eyes, wondering if Duke is just as crazy as Janice was. If he does, I doubt he even has a clue what he's doing right now. Dale's missing. Cynthia drove off into the desert. Duke turns around to look back at me. We saw your cat friend running down the street on the way here, saying someone is after him. TJ? Thing is, we've all got something after us. Something bad. Won't let you leave when it starts. What's after you? I flinch as Brian speaks just above me, leaning down towards my face. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you bring a gun to the equation, like you don't know what's gonna happen. Some people get that fight response. And you know, like, so. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. I got spam on this channel, so, you know, I had to take care of that. Okay. All right, we're good now. Sorry, I had somebody wanted to spam in the stream, so I had to remove them. They're removed now though, so don't worry about that. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Bullshit. I flinch again as Duke's concerned demeanor immediately drops away. Why do you think we came to get Leo and you? He pauses like I should actually know the answer. I feel myself starting to panic again with these two crazy hillbillies looming over my body. I don't know what... Duke slaps me and I gasp in shock. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. I saw you hanging around this fucking town before you even got here. Late at night, lurking around. I'm still cringing from the slap, and I keep my eyes closed as if not seeing if this is going to make it stop. And then once all your friends get here, all hell breaks loose. You think that's a fucking coincidence? Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Oof, well, I finally got popular enough that I'm getting a crap ton of spam. Wonderful. I love it. Don't worry about it, guys. I will, you know, I should actually add a moderator. I don't think I even have a moderator. Who wants to be a moderator? Actually, very seriously, who wants to be a moderator? I will give you moderate. As long as you've been here for a while. I'm not going to give to anybody that has just recently joined. Like, people that have actually been here for a while, I will give you moderator powers. Because it's kind of annoying to have to, because if I get this a lot, I'm going to have to keep deleting stuff. So... Anyway, I will try to, in the meantime, whoever wants to be a moderator, let me know. I'm more than willing to. If you've been watching my channel for a while, I'll make you a moderator. I'm not going to make you a moderator if you just started watching my channel. So, there's a few people. Oh, here we go. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. As I was doing. Ghosty's here. This is a good time for a ghost to be here, right? It's quiet for a moment. All I can hear is the rush of blood in my ears. Is this really happening? I feel Duke touch my arm again and I flinch in fear. Hey! I feel like he wants me to look at him, so I slowly open my eyes, tears spilling out as I do. The blurry shape of Duke dances in front of me. I'm not saying you did it or that you wanted it to happen. I don't say anything because I still don't know what he's talking about, but I know I can't tell him that. It's just that you gotta know something. Anything so that we can stop this. Duke starts to pet my arm and I shiver. Brian is breathing heavily next to him and a glance at him shows that his expression is more interested now. Almost eager. Duke still hasn't answered my question. It makes no sense that they'd go as far as to kidnap us. I mean, Tendo, do you want to be... I mean, you could be a mod, Tendo. I've known you for a good while. Do you want to be a mod? I mean, if you want to be a moderator, you can be. I just can't keep... It's just hard to keep track of, you know, and I'm not used to, you know, it's hard to keep track of the chat. If I had 2 monitors, it wouldn't be an issue, but I'm like, I only have 1 monitor, so it's kind of hard. And so I'm going to have people that are going to constantly spam this channel. Well, you know how it is. But why didn't you just ask us? Why all of this? I lift my hands weakly, making the platform rattle. Duke's face darkens. Because I've been asking Leo all week what the fuck you guys are doing, and he wouldn't say shit. Duke stops petting my arm and scratches behind his head. And, someone told me that you would know. I stare at him. Who? Someone I know, and it makes sense. Something bad happens, and if you don't fix it, it won't stop coming after you. I shut my eyes and almost sob. Says they know, and I thought it had to be Leo or you, considering what we've been seeing these past few weeks. Duke pauses. Maybe one of your other friends. My mind briefly flashes to TJ. I don't know what you're talking about. I wait for another slap, but it doesn't come. I open my eyes again, and Duke is looking back out the window. We're kind of protecting you, too. I stare at the back of his head. Things are getting worse out there, and if we don't figure something out soon, we're all gonna die. Duke's voice is dead and distant. Alright, congratulations, Tendo. You're a moderator now. Enjoy. For our first moderator. I mean, you pretty much know the basics. If you see anybody throwing spam, just... reporting doesn't do crap for YouTube, really, but I mean, hey, report one of the messages and hide the user on this channel. That's pretty much all you gotta do. That's all. Duke's voice is dead and distant. Brian, though, touches my other arm and I gasp, shrinking away. He's smirking down at me, looking at my stomach or crotch, somewhere around there. Brian, stop. Duke is turned back around, looking over me at the bear. We're not getting anywhere right now, and I gotta get back to the wolf. Even though Duke is the one that hit me, I'm terrified at the thought of being left alone with Brian. Duke sees my face. Don't worry, Chase. Even though you're lying to us, I don't plan to let this pervert have his way with you. We're not lying. We don't know what's going on. We're trying to figure out what's going on ourselves. We have no idea what's going on, and I know something bad's gonna happen. Brian snorts. Brian knows what will happen if he does. Duke gives Brian a cold, callous stare, and this time Brian doesn't give a stupid grin back. But you better hope your fuck buddy says something soon, because if not, we might have to get mean. Duke heads for the door, turning to look over his shoulder. Just feed him and make sure he doesn't escape. That's it. And with that, Duke briskly disappears out the door, a golden flash of afternoon light lighting up the dim trailer. Brian and I listen to the weasel's soft, anxious footsteps recede into the distance. As soon as the sound is gone, Brian stands up. I turn my head in time to see him whirl around and smash his fist into the wall. I jump as much as I can in my strength before he does it again, this time slamming both of his fists against the wall. Oh, Lord, we're gonna die. Fucking faggot. He screamed so loudly my ears to be... I I'm in a certain area, so I don't want to really be screaming that out loud. I don't like that word anyway, so I'm sorry if I didn't scream it out. Something bad has been happening. You're talking about the game? I know something bad has been happening, but that's what I'm saying. We don't know what's going on. He screams so loudly my ears immediately start ringing. I think he's talking to me, so I brace myself for what I'm sure is going to be the worst moment of my life. But he stalks right past me, not even looking at me. Instead, he strides up to the kitchen counter. Once there, he picks up a dirty pan that raises it over his head before bringing it down with a crash. I hear glass shatter before he does it again and again. Goddamn cocksucking piece of shit! He throws the pan across the room to crash into the wall. I'll fucking kill him! I'll kill that fucking cunt! I stare at him, my eyes wide as I watch him stamp his feet like a little kid. Then he slaps himself across the face twice. After that, he closes his hands into a fist and punches himself in the head repeatedly. With a force that would knock me out cold. Oh my gosh, what? Oh gosh, if I was chased, I'd be crying. If I was chased at this point, I'd be literally crying. I'd be like, I want to go home. It might be funny if I wasn't tied down to a contraption in the trailer belonging to Brian. Brian stumbles after what seemed like the fifth blow and covers his face. His massive shoulders shake with sobs. Thanks he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Thinks he can boss me around. Brian whirls around and slams both his fists into the counter several more times. The sound of shifting glass accompanying it. I'll kill him! Kill him! Kill him! His voice crescendos into pitch and volume before he finally slumps against the counter, head in his hands as he starts crying again. I breathe as quietly as I can, not wanting to draw any attention to myself. I'll get him! I'll fucking get him! Won't control me no more! Oh my god, I'm gonna die! Yo, people, who played this game? Am I gonna die? Is my character gonna die? Oh gosh, am I gonna die? Suddenly his quaking shoulders freeze. Slowly he turns, and with a sinking heart I realize he's looking right at me. The fur on his cheeks, already matted before, are now flat and shiny with wet. Snot runs from his nose down to his upper lip. Then I see red dripping from his left fist. The fur on the right is matted with blood as well. He watches me for a while, then grins. Am I funny to you? I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. I know he has a high-pitched voice, but I can't imagine a high-pitched voice. It's so hard for this character. He suddenly strides right up to the end of my platform, standing between my spread legs. Oh god. I feel numb, the fear taking up every fiber of my being. I feel nothing else. You like seeing him make fun of me? I try to speak again, but still nothing comes out. I swallow. No. My lips tremble and my voice shakes. I've never stuttered so hard in my life. You know what I'd do to you if I could? Brian sneers down at me, the wet fur on his cheeks bristling out. Oh, I swear to God, I'd fucking tear your balls off right fucking now. Oh, God. Yeah, well, hold on, I have something in case stuff gets really bad. I have a sensor because I don't know. I'm getting a little worried that something might happen. He rests a huge hand on my crotch and presses down. I cringe and whine. Please. And Brian's grin only gets bigger and he rubs his crotch with his other hand as he watches me wince. Oh, good. You already know how to beg. He leans forward towards my face, moving his hand to clamp over my mouth. And then I'd hang you for hours. I stare at him, breathing hard through my nose, tears leaking down the sides of my face. His hand slides down from my mouth to my neck and he starts to squeeze. Then I'd give you a little stool to stand on when you start to go out. Then I'd kick it away again. I gasp and gag, both from the squeezing and from his reeking breath. I'm gonna definitely hate for this, Oh no, you could die on Leo. Oh no! You could die on Leo's route if you choose the wrong option. Won't say which ones. Oh jeez. Oh no, I might die then. I gasp and gag, both from the squeezing and from his reeking breath. I should probably save. Now I'm worried. Oh, Tendo, you got me worried now. If I die. He stares hard at me and I can feel his crotch grinding up against mine. He's hard. And then he blinks and slowly pulls back. He watches me gasp and sob for a while before reaching down again. I try to turn my head away, letting out a moan of terror. But he doesn't grab my neck again. Instead, he prods and teases the fur, checking the skin on my neck. Better not bruise if that fucking cocksucker saw that. His expression darkens again. If you fucking tell Duke about this. He raised a fist and I cringe. No, I won't. I swear. I turn my head away, eyeing his raised fist. He holds it there for a while, watching me. He seems to be calculating something, like he's wondering if he can get away with what he's about to do. Then he seems to make up his mind. Good. With that, he slams his fist down right into the center of my torso, just below the ribs. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Why? This game got dark so sudden. Well, not suddenly, but oh. Oh my gosh. This is about as bad as the game I wanted to play called, what's the game called? I never told anybody. There was a series I wanted to play on this channel very badly called Something Boyfriend, and I can't remember what it was called. Something Boyfriend. Do I still have it? I can't find it. But it was some game called something to do with Boyfriend, and I watched Ookie Cookie play it months ago, and I was like, oh, I should play this for the channel. Let me just say, does not end well at all. My vision flies and I hear a rasping, droning wheeze that I realize is coming from my mouth. It goes on and on until there's no air left in me, and then I can't breathe in again. My vision goes black as I suffocate, writhing against the restraints, wanting to curl up into a little ball and disappear. It feels like hours, days before I finally get a sip of air. My mouth gasps as I try to suck it in faster. Brian is standing over me, and I'm somehow surprised that he's got a worried look on his face. He probably thinks he killed me. But then my stomach starts to turn and lurch. Before I even realize I'm about to puke, a gush of vomit fills my mouth and I start to choke. Shit! Brian hurries to my side, and as I'm given the second heave mixed with a gag, he tips the platform over sideways. His huge paw pushes my face to the side to look at the ground, and I watch as it all spills to the ugly shag carpet. When I finish, Brian slowly tilts the table back up, looking at me with disgust. At this point, I'm too tired to cry. Instead, I lie there in a daze, occasionally hacking or coughing. Brian goes to the kitchen, rustling around a while before returning with water and paper towels. He wipes my face and nose before tilting my head up to drink the water. Rinse and spit. He holds the mug there until I do as he says, then he gets down to his knees. I watch his head bob up and down as he busies himself with the mess on the floor, muttering about Duke finding out. I'm too numb to really care right now, though. Right now, I'm starting to realize that I might not survive this. Brian calms down pretty quick after his tantrum. Once he cleans up the mess, he splays out on the couch and starts watching TV. Some kind of cartoon about a pink cat, and he actually laughs along with the juvenile jokes. While this goes on, I lie quietly against my platform, trying not to start crying again. My mind keeps wandering back just hours ago, how everything seemed fine for the most part. I keep wishing I could go back to the beginning of the week. Thinking about that makes me sentimental, and I'm longing to see Leo, TJ, Carl, Jenna, and even Flynn again. Where are they all right now? Duke said things were bad out there. Are they all in some sort of trouble? If that's the case, the cops should be here by now. Someone would have gotten the word out, wouldn't they? If people were murdering each other like what happened to Janice, there's no way that wouldn't be the case. There you go. Thank you, Tendo. Boyfriend to Death. I actually wanted to stream that. Yeah. I wanted to stream it, actually. I don't know how people feel about that game, though, because that game is very, very, very gory and very, very dark. I think there was 3 Boyfriend to Death games, too. Brian lets out another explosive laugh, wiggling his feet on the armrest of the couch. Earlier, he tried to feed me some dried cereal, but it was like cardboard in my mouth, and after only a few handfuls, I couldn't eat anymore. I'm just thankful that he's preoccupied with something else right now. There's a soft knock at the door, and Brian jumps, quickly changing the channel to golf before he gets up and lumbers over to the door. He pauses, then rifles through some magazines on a small table next to the couch. He pulls out a handgun that looks cartoonishly small in his hands before making his way to the door. I weakly turn my head in his direction and watch Brian open the door a crack. He chuckles. World's gone to shit and you're still coming here for more, huh? Brian pushes the door open a bit more and I catch sight of a skinny, malnourished polecat. Clint is looking up at Brian, appearing even more deceived than usual. So are we doing? Clint had stepped up onto the first step and looked into the trailer, immediately spotting me. He stares, the shock on his face almost comical. Brian turns to see what he's looking at as if he'd just forgotten that I was even there. He gives a start before shoving Clint back out the door. Oh, I'm full today. I already got someone taking your spot. Clint's now out of my line of sight, but I can hear him shuffling around in the dead vegetation. Please, I really need something right now. We can do it outside. There's a moment of silence as Brian seems to contemplate that. No, I got some business to take care of. Tomorrow, maybe. Clint starts to whine again, but Brian swings the door shut with a bang. Fucking dopehead. No, boyfriend of death. It's not a toxic relationship. I'm gonna tell you now, Tendo. You're not really dating. They're really not your boyfriend in that game. I will let that linger for you to understand. Yeah, it's hard not to die in that game. Yeah, it really is, because I've seen people play it. Well, the Beast I'm gonna play later this week, Ghost. You're probably not gonna play tomorrow because it's Christmas, but I'll probably stream it the day after Christmas. I was gonna do it today, but then I was looking through my videos and I realized, oh, wait a minute, I gotta redo that Echo stream that I did that got messed up. So I promise yours is the next stream I do will be Beast. Brian walks back into the room looking down at me, then back at the TV. Probably shouldn't have let him see you, though. He mumbles before setting back down and switching the channel back to the cartoon. I stare up at my reflection. Even from here I can see that my eyes are bloodshot, the fur on my face matted. There are dark spots on my shirt too, and distantly I wonder if Brian had broken ribs when he punched me. Then I remember that his hand had been bleeding when he did that. I feel strange right now. Numb. Kind of feels good after the whirlwind of emotions I had earlier. I still haven't caught up to everything that's happened since I was in that diner. Would I ever be able to? Would I have time at Brian planned to? A tinge of panic pierces through my fog of disassociation. I clutch my eyes shut, screwing up my face. I try not to start crying again. Brian snorts again at something on the TV. I open my eyes at the distraught otter lying on the wooden torture contraption. Why is there a mirror on your ceiling? I surprise myself a little by asking the question. Apparently I really don't give a fuck at this point. I see Brian look over at me from my peripheral vision. You really want to know? I shrug the best I can, continuing to stare passively up at the ceiling. The moment sends electric tingles through my arms, which are completely numb at this point. Well... Brian shifts around the couch as he tries to get a better look at me. When I has my fun, I likes them to see what I'm doing. I stare up at the mirror, my expression still blank. I mean, it's not just about what I'm feeling. What they're feeling is important too. Fear, that's what Brian likes. Sure, I can choke you all as I want and cut you all as I want. But when I do that, you're not thinking about what's actually happening. Oh my god, this guy's a fucking... Oh, this guy is nuts. Oh, this guy is nuts. Oh, we're gonna die. Brian shifts into a sitting position, now more interested in our conversation than his cartoons. I realize now I probably made a mistake. Wanna see? I keep my face blank, staring at myself. I don't say anything. Brian gets up anyway and comes around to stand over me, above my head, blocking my view of the mirror. His reeking stench fills my nostrils, but still, I try not to give him the satisfaction of seeing how afraid I'm starting to become. His massive hands reach around my head and start to fiddle with something I can't see. With one quick motion, the strap comes back down over my neck and my eyes widen. I grip my teeth and try to press my head as hard as I can into the platform behind my head to lessen the strain. It's not a lot of pressure, but it's enough to make me want to gag. Brian chuckles again. See, you're probably only thinking about how it's hard to breathe right now, just trying to figure out how to make it stop, but... Brian leans back, revealing a terror-stricken otter on the ceiling, his eyes bulging, teeth bared. Now you see what's happening to you. Your brain telling you, yeah, this is really fucking happening. The leather squeaks a little as he pulls it down tighter. I start to writhe at this point and I see my tongue sticking out, my face a mask of horror. You feel more, and that's what I like. Brian comes back into my vision, his expression different. He's really searching my face now, like he's looking for something. Maybe you like it too. Oh, this is getting so bad. I can't do this. This is getting... Oh, I gotta put... I'm just letting people know now, after I finish this video, I gotta put a warning. I'll be like, yeah... Oh, no. If that happens in this, I'm gonna have to skip it, because I can't... I don't want to get the stream shut down. Finally, with the final squeak of leather, Brian lets out, and I gasp hungrily for air. Brian pets my head while I cough and gasp for breath. Don't exaggerate. That wasn't nothing. He moves away again and slumps back into the couch, pulling at his crotch. Your buddy Clint gets it way worse. I choose not to stare at the choking otter on the ceiling and instead look out the window, feeling fresh tears roll down my face. I'm not sure if it's from the choking or the black hole in my chest. I watch the leaves rustling around the wind and think about where the others are, why no one's come to help me. Finally, I turn my head back to the ceiling. The blank expression has returned. Brian continues to chuckle at his cartoons, and despite myself, I ask another question. Have you ever killed someone? For the first time, Brian ignores me. I don't say anything for the rest of the day. Ooh, I don't like that he didn't answer that. I don't like that he did not answer that. I stare into the darkness. The only faint source of light coming from the moonlight leaves through the window. It's been less than 24 hours since I've been kidnapped. Still, it makes no sense that someone hasn't found me. Is what Duke said about the town true? I wonder what Leo's doing right now. What he's going through is just as bad. I doubt it is. At least Duke seems slightly less unhinged. I give a soft, trembling sigh, my head still throbbing from the day's events. The thunderous snoring from Brian is literally shaking the platform on one, and though I've drifted off a few times, I can't sleep. He's right next to me, his stained couch apparently doubling as his bed. I shift around in the contraption for what feels like the 100th time, trying to get comfortable when I feel something. There's more give in my right arm than I remember. In fact, it's incredibly loose. I pause and experimentally wriggle my arm around before easily pulling my hand out from the restraint. I freeze, disbelieving, not wanting to believe in case it isn't true somehow. Painfully, I crane my neck to look at my right arm. Though it's dark, I can see that my arm is clearly free, my elbow on the board, hand in the air. I swallow hard, listening to Brian's snores again to make sure he's actually asleep. I try to keep my breathing even, not wanting to make any more sound than I need to, but I'm almost sobbing with relief at this point. Now I'm able to partly sit up and make short work of the left arm restraint. Fully sitting up now, I do away with the final 2 ankle restraints to slide off the table quietly. Brian is still snoring at full volume, and it covers up a little sound I make. Making my way over the messy floor, I find the steps and try not to stumble down them to open the door. Incredibly, there's no squeaking or rattling as I do, and before I know it, I'm outside in the cool air. I run through the woods and onto the road, sobbing with joy now as I see Leo's house. The lights are on, and why do I get the feeling this is a dream? I don't know. This is a dream, isn't it? Yeah, watch this be a dream. The lights are on, and as I'm running towards it, I think I even see Carl's horns through the window. I run up the steps onto the porch and bang on the door. Leo, Carl, I got out! Open the door! I tried the handle and open, swinging inward to blackness. Oh, damn it. Yeah, it's a dream. I stare, trying to comprehend. You really fell for that? I hear my own voice, but it isn't me that said it. Instead, it's higher pitched, like I'm hearing it from a video recording rather than my own throat. Then I'm sucked into the blackness and slammed hard back down onto a wooden platform. All at once, I realize what happened, and my heart feels like it drops through the platform. Of course, a dream. I knew it. I was like, there ain't no way that he messed up the restraints like that. I was like, he's dreaming. I'm back in the hot, stifling trailer, and it looks even darker than it did in my dream. I close my eyes and start to cry quietly. It feels like I've just found out that I'm locked up in a psycho's trailer all over again. I turn my head and look out the window above Brian, looking for some daylight. And then I see 2 white eyes set up against a black face staring back into me. I jump. What the fuck? Am I still dreaming? Then I see the 2 beige-colored ears above the head. Kudzu? I gasp again, quieter. I'm overcome with relief once again, but the fear that I'm still dreaming is almost overpowering it. I wave my left hand as much as I can, but I'm not sure he can see it. I realize that none of the light from the window is falling on me. Kudzu moves to the side, then back again, squinting, clearly trying to see inside. I think about making a noise, calling out his name, but I have no idea how deep of a sleeper Brian is. As if on cue, Brian gives a louder snore and rolls over. Kudzu seems to have heard it, his big ears perking before he ducks down. My heart hurts just losing sight of him, and I strain at my bonds. Brian seems to be waking up, though, mumbling something in his sleep. No. You're dead. I pull with my right arm again in case my dream had been onto something. It doesn't budge. Fucking cunt. Brian's really starting to kick around now, his massive form rolling over on his stomach, rubbing his face into the pillow. He starts to make loud, gasping sounds, and he gets to his knees on the bed. Back off! He holds his hands up, snarling. You're dead! You're dead! I stare at him, almost forgetting about Kudzu. His eyes are open, and he snapped to me, his hands still out. No! His face is etched with horror, eyes wide and white in the darkness. He backs up against the back of the couch as he continues to stare. I stare back at him, unsure what he's going to do. After about 10 seconds, his expression starts to melt from horror to confusion. I continue to stare back, bracing for another explosion from him, for whatever reason. His shoulders droop again, and he frowns at me. Did you see her? My mouth is dry, so I have to swallow a few times before I can answer. Who? Brian doesn't respond and starts to look around the trailer. I see Kudzu starting to poke his head up again. At this point, I've made it up in my mind that I want to escape tonight. I'm not going to spend another minute with this maniac. Making a decision that could mean life or death so suddenly is terrifying and exhilarating. I don't give myself time to think about it. Brian. He doesn't answer, starting to get up and look around. Brian? I have to go to the bathroom. Brian sighs as he flips on the light. Kudzu drops out of view again. Brian heaves a huge sigh before turning to the counter. He reaches for a pan and dumps out some murky water into the sink. I wrinkle my nose. He shrugs at me. What? This'll do. Oh, God, that's disgusting. Ah, boy. I love how I was like, oh, this game is like really. I was like, oh, I love Leo and Chase, and maybe them get back together is a good thing. And now I'm just like, this town is fucked up. Chase and Leo, you need to get out this town and never look back because, oh my gosh, this town. Town is nuts. What? This'll do. No, I have to use your toilet. My stomach is feeling really bad right now. Brian turns and really looks at me. Like what? You gotta puke? I shift on the platform. No, I think I have diarrhea. Brian pulls out a look of extreme disgust, which is kind of funny for someone who apparently never showers. Oh, come on. He glares at me like it's my fault that I might be sick. He looks around a while, then back down at the pan. The bear seems to quickly disregard that idea and sets it back down on the counter. He comes over next to me and starts to undo the restraint. If you try anything... No, I promise. I just really need to go. Brian grumbles as he starts to roughly undo my restraints. I take care not to look at his crotch as it's pressed uncomfortably close to my face. As he pulls my right arm out, I gasp in shock and pain. It feels like a million needles are poking through it as he pushes my arm down next to my body. Wait, fuck! Brian pauses as he watches me grimace in pain. I worry he's getting off on it. At that moment, though, there's some rustling next to the window and I try to groan over it. Oh, fuck! The bear looks at me, bewildered and annoyed. What? Now my dream seems even more ridiculous that I'd so easily been able to run off. Everything's fallen asleep. Just take it slower. Brian sighs even louder and gets to work on my left arm anyway. This time he doesn't yank my arm out, though, and lets me slowly move it out on my own. It's not nearly as bad as my right arm, which is still violently tingling, but I have to grit my teeth as I move it to thrust to my chest. Luckily, my legs are fine, and I'm able to move them easily after Brian takes them out. It makes me worry about what I'm going to try since I'm not really nearly as strong as I should be. Brian is clearly on guard as he helps me sit up from the contraption, keeping his distance as he holds onto my arm. I sit there a moment, letting the circulation return back to my limbs as I try not to fall over from the dizziness. Brian finally gives a growl of annoyance and pulls me off the wooden platform. I realize that this is the moment I have to make my move. There's nothing nearby for me to grab, so instead I swing with everything I have to smash my fist up against the side of Brian's face. Oh, God. Oh, no, please don't die. Something cracks in my hand and pain rushes up my arm. I gasp and cringe as Brian grunts. Brian pauses and slowly brings his hand up to feel the side of his face. Run! I guess I'd hoped that I would be able to knock him out with one punch. Chase, you're not One Punch Man. You can't do that. But doing that as an honor to a bear, especially a bear like Brian, would have been quite the feat. Brian does seem stunned, though, and that's all I need as I take in a huge breath and scream as loud as I can. Caduceus! Brian whirls at me, swinging his fist along with him. I duck immediately, covering my head with one arm, that is still locked in Brian's grasp. He only partly misses, his fist catching the top of my head and my arm. It knocks me to the ground, and I sit there in a daze. I don't have long to collect myself because Brian is pulling a foot back to kick me. Shut up! I roll to the side and start trying to look back away while I'm crouched, but Brian yanks me up by my own arm, my head jerking back with force. Now I'm starting to wonder if Caduceus ended up leaving. If that is the case, then I'm definitely dead because there's no way I'm going to break his grasp. As I'm thinking this, the door bangs open. Brian is in the middle of drawing his fist back when it happens, and he freezes looking over at the door. Caduceus stands there, his eyes wide behind his black mask, chest heaving. He's scared, I can tell, but Brian's shock gives me the opening I was looking for. I reach in between his legs and grab his balls. Oh, God. Weirdly enough, the first thought I have is about how fucking big it is. It takes both my hands to wrap around it fully, and when I do, I twist and yank down as hard as I can. I pour all of my fear and anger to the attack, snarling as I do. Ooh, that probably gotta hurt. The scream that Brian lets out is so high-pitched, I feel like every glass in the trailer is going to explode. This attack is all I have left, so when his retaliation comes, I don't do anything to defend myself. Luckily, it's not a punch or kick, but rather he grabs the fur on the back of my head along with my shirt and tries pulling me back. My face stretches back as I stubbornly hold on and just yank down even harder. Ooh. Ooh. His sack is stretched and distorted so badly it's barely even recognizable as balls. Oh! His scream until he cuts off with the sound of a deep, sickening smack. Immediately, Brian's body crumples onto me as he falls to his hands and knees. It happens in a way that he's splayed over me, his face inches from mine. I have time to smell his gag-inducing breath before the sound happens again. This time I see Caduceus swing something down hard from overhead and Brian's head jolts. I watch as his eyes lose their focus on me and he slumps down. I turn my head sideways as he comes to rest on my body, crushing the air from my lungs. Caduceus is there immediately and pushes Brian's body aside to the point of being able to pull me out. He pulls me into a sitting position next to him. Are you okay? He's shaking and I can hear his ragged breath in my ear. The contrast between being engulfed in Brian's stench to smelling Caduceus' shampooed fur and peppermint breath is striking. I can't speak and instead I lean against Caduceus and wrap my arms around him as I sob. Caduceus holds me as he looks me over. Can you walk? I nod silently as I press my face into the fur on his shoulder. Alright, come on, we can't stay here. He stands slowly, keeping me in the embrace as he guides me towards the door. I don't remember much about the walk back to Caduceus' house, aside from stilted flashes of dirt and sagebrush. It's dark and hot, and my shirt immediately starts to stick to my sweaty fur. My legs are so numb that I don't even know if I'm moving them right. Caduceus has to hold on to me the entire way so I don't fall over. Crickets chirp all around us, but every few minutes I hear shouting and screams in the distance. I try to look over my shoulder to see if Brian is coming after us, but Caduceus grunts and tells me to keep watching my steps. Some circulation has returned to my legs, and I'm able to at least match Caduceus' stride over the uneven dirt road. Still, it feels like 1,000 needles are stabbing up my feet and legs in waves with every step I take. I'm genuinely afraid that I'm going to wake up any second and find myself still stuck in Brian's trailer. None of this seems real. I'm still watching my feet in the ground so I don't notice Caduceus' house until I almost kick the bottom step to his rusty trailer. Just the sight of a trailer is sending chills up my spine, even though Brian's trailer looks very different compared to Caduceus'. We stand in front of his door for a while as the raccoon fishes through his pockets for his keys. It's made extra difficult me hanging on him. I can stand on my own if you... Got it. Caduceus whips out a small gold-colored key before sliding into the lock. Once we're inside, Caduceus immediately kicks the door closed behind us before reaching back to turn the deadlock. The inside of... Oh. The inside of Caduceus' trailer is the opposite of its exterior. It's brightly lit and tidy, nothing like Brian's place. It's a little cramped as any trailer would be, but the furniture is arranged neatly and the kitchen is spotless. Everything looks way newer than the trailer is on the outside. I imagine the raccoon did a lot of work to get it to look like this. Kudzu quickly guides me to a small love seat and makes it as if to lie me down. I put a hand against his chest, feeling my stomach turn. Wait, I think I'd rather sit up. Do you need anything? Food? Or a drink? Kudzu's looking into my eyes with his dark browns and the brows above them furrowed in deep concern. I nod slowly so as to not upset my stomach again. Just water. Please. Sure. Kudzu quickly hurries off to the kitchen and I slowly lean into the cushions behind me. I'm not tired at all, but I feel numb and not just physically. My arms throb and it feels like the leather straps are still bound around my wrists. It even feels like they're being pulled by an invisible force. Like if I relaxed, my arms would float back up into that fixed position. I shudder, hugging my body, and look around, trying to find something else to focus on. A grouping of 3 picture frames on a small side table next to the love seat catches my attention. From where I'm sitting, I can see Kudzu in one of them, beaming at the camera. It's actually kind of weird to see him smiling like that. There's an arm around his neck, and I start to lean over a bit to see who it is. Here. Kudzu appears in front of me again, holding out a glass of water. I straighten back up against the cushions. Once I take the glass, he holds out his other hand while 2 white pills resting in the black pad of his palm. Acetem blah 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 if you're in pain. I definitely am, so I take it in the glass without a word and swallow it down. For a second, my stomach sours and I feel like it's gonna come back up. But only for a second. Kudzu steps back and watches me. Even though his face maintains its static, almost glare, I see his hands fidgeting together in front of his stomach. I nod weakly at a recliner across from him. You want to sit or something? Kudzu seems to consider, then walks over to the recliner. He sits on the very edge of the cushion, back rigid, continuing to stare at me. I take another sip of water, less this time so as not to upset my stomach. It looks like he wants to say something, but keeps silent, lips pressed together. Kudzu watches me the whole time. What's wrong? Kudzu opens his mouth and closes it, thinking before opening it again. Are you okay? Yeah, sort of. I mean, I'm not gonna die, I think. I'm not really sure if I am completely okay. Everything still feels numb. My thoughts feel sluggish too, and something that's been nagging at the back of my mind since I got here suddenly bubbles up to the surface. Did you call the police? I absentmindedly reach for my phone in my pocket, but it's not there. I have no idea where it is at this point. Was it still at Leo's house? There's a tight look of concentration on Kudzu's face. Oh god. Don't say... Tendo, you do not say... Oh my god, do not say that. Tendo, don't say that. Oh jeez. Phones aren't working. Even my landline isn't working. My foggy brain tries to process this. What? Why did the phone lines break or something? Kudzu shakes his head. I don't know. Should we walk to my car or something and drive to Peyton? I look back out the pitch black window. We need to tell someone right now. Janice and Leo still out there? There's no way Janice hasn't been found by now. There should be police everywhere. Where are the cops? I turn back to Kudzu, feeling sick again. Kudzu doesn't say anything, and he's got a strange look on his face, like he's trying to figure out how to tell me something. Finally, he stands up. I'll figure something out. Listen, I think you need to get some rest. I frown. But we need to get someone out here. What if Brian comes after me? I shrink in on myself at the thought, feeling goosebumps erupt over my arms. Kudzu steps closer to me and awkwardly reaches out to put a hand on my shoulder. You'll be fine. Do you want to lie down in my bed? I don't say anything, my head's still trying to catch up. It's a water bed. Kudzu adds as if that makes the offer more tempting. He thinks. You hungry? I have some muffins. It might help you get to sleep. I don't think any of this is going to help us get to sleep with what just happened with Chase. I know I wouldn't be sleeping anytime soon. Shake my head. What? No, I want to get the fuck out of here. A loud pop makes me jump and I stand up. I'm not sure what I'm about to do, but Kudzu reaches out gently to hold on to me before pulling me away from the window. Faintly, I can hear some shouting outside, but it's far away. What was that? Is someone shooting? I look at Kudzu, starting to feel desperate. He puts an arm around me, or at the same time moving towards the end of the trailer where a big bed is tucked in. I don't know. A lot of things are happening right now, so I think we should stay here to be safe. Okay? For now, at least. I hold on to the raccoon, unsure what to do. Listen. He holds me by both arms, and I look back at him. You gotta trust me that we can't leave right now. I'll explain it all after you've rested for a bit. He pauses. I can tell you're not really here right now. Here right now? You'll feel better once you wake up, alright? The thought of lying down is tempting despite feeling like I'm going insane. If I sleep, I don't have to think, just blank my mind and rest. My head is buzzing and I feel like lying down might straighten things out. Kudzu gently but firmly forces me to sit down on the bed. Despite his slender build, I can feel the strength in his lean muscles. But what about Brian and Duke? Kudzu slowly pushes me back down onto the bed, the water underneath the surface sloshing faintly. I haven't been on an actual waterbed for years. Carl used to have one. Where is Carl? Where is everyone? I want to go back to the motel and find my friends again, but Kudzu seems adamant on keeping me here. I got Leo's gun. Saw it on the ground when I went to check on you guys. He must be able to tell from the look on my face that I'm not at ease because he reaches out again to rest a hand on my chest. It's still awkward, but it's comforting at least. I'll be here all night. Nothing's gonna happen. That does make me feel better. At least well enough to maybe get some sleep. Okay. I stare at the ceiling as I lie back. I still feel numb, but in a way that helps me blank my mind. In what feels like less than a minute, I pass out. Oh, nope. Gonna stop there. We're gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there. Ooh. Yeah, Kudzu was the only one that's not really, like, freaking out. I mean, but Chase has a valid reason to be freaking out right now. He's like, I mean, because I can't say I wouldn't be like, if I was Chase, I'm like, we need to leave this town now. Kudzu's like, no, like, but I think there's something he's not telling us. There's something going on in the town he's not telling us. Like, that, there's something that seemed like we can't leave. Because, like, we're like, we gotta leave it. Kudzu's like, yeah, well, you know, you can't leave. Or he's like, just seemed like he's trying to get us to stay there. But I'm gonna stop here. It's 2.5 hours. I'm gonna stop here because I'm gonna stream later on Twitch. So, things are getting really, really worrisome. Save. Well, I wanted to say though, thank everyone for watching the stream. Much better than last time where it ended up messing up. But I am so happy that we got a little bit more of Echo done. We're going by pretty fast. I'm wondering if by the next part I will be able to finish. I'm not sure how much there is left to finish. Yeah, that's what I said. My mind would be wide awake. I would not be able to sleep in that situation. I don't care how comfy the waterbed is. I'm like, I can't sleep. I'd be worried that Brian, because I'm like, where's Brian at? Like, ugh. But anyway, like I said, thank you so much for everyone for watching the video. Once again, I'd like to say, if you like what I do, feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. I did want to, once again, if anybody's interested in joining my Discord, I will share the link one more time before I go. And I'm not sure. Maybe next part we'll be able to finish. How much more do I have left before we're done with Leo's route? Does anybody know? Don't worry what I'm doing. I just want to see how far. Oh god, there's a lot we're missing. Okay, never mind. I just want to see how much more there was to go. We'll wait. I'll do it next part. Or go full on insomniac. I just was trying to see real quick, like, how much stuff there is to do. If I try to. Okay. Yeah, we'll save it for next part. There's a lot left. Okay. I will just skim it through real quick to see what's missed. After a day is finished, it will appear on the screen. Okay, so we got a lot left of this day. Okay. Well, I will save this for next part. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for... I don't know. Do people want me to keep going? If people really want me to keep going, I guess I can keep going. But if not, I will... If people think I should stop, then that's fine, too. I will let people vote, because I know you people know what... Should I keep going, or should I stop? Like, whatever you guys say, I'm perfectly fine with. If you say you want me to keep going, that's fine. EA Sports is in the game. What? What is it? What are you talking about? I don't even understand what that means right now. Pick one, paws, maws, tails, or ears. I know a fun stream. I don't know if I'd go there. Pick one, paws, maws, tails, or ears. I'd probably have to go with ears. Maybe tails. I'm not really into paws. I'm not really into maws. I mean, I want to. That's what I'm asking you. I don't know if I don't. If it, we'll keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Let me load that. I'll keep going. I feel like if I keep walking along the train tracks, I'll be able to find my way out of here. I'll keep going. Why not? I'll go for a little while longer. I make sure to walk into the middle using the planks like stepping stones. The steel rails on either side of me feels like some sort of barrier, a protection of whatever it is that's out there. I feel a presence in front of me, though, with sort of pressure that builds as I continue to walk. Looking up, I can see that it's coming from that weird grove of trees that bunch up around the train yard. Something is crouched in front of that grove, staring at me from the trees. I keep walking, though, because for some reason I don't feel like I have anything to worry about as long as I stay on the tracks. I notice something else behind the hunched figure. A few bulky objects hang from the trees. I know what they are before I can make them out. I keep staring at them as I draw closer, ignoring the thing that's watching me as I do, hearing it breathe as I pass it. Now I can see there are several bodies hanging from the trees. They're all of all shapes and species. Some hang by their necks, others by a wrist or ankle. One of them passes me within a few feet and I notice that it doesn't have legs, both of them cut off at the thigh. It's a wolf and he dangles by one of the stumps. Blood stains his dusty cream-colored pants and shirt all the way up to his face. As I pass him, he slowly turns on the rope as if he's following my progress. I look down at the corpse's face, the mouth hanging open, eyes wide. It's like he wants to tell me something important. I can feel my body again, but it's numb and heavy. Slowly I open my eyes and see the beige ceiling of Kudu's trailer. I flick my eyes to the right and I see Kud's there, but only his back. He seems frozen like he's in a photo. He's not even breathing. I can't see the window very well from here, but from the small corner I see eyes. When I wake up, Kudzu was next to me in his bed, his back to me, one of his ears folded under his head. Having been with Leo for a few years, I know that can be pretty painful when you wake up. So I reach out and try to slowly adjust Kudzu's ear from under his head, but he immediately wakes up. He makes a funny stoning sound before suddenly jerking up halfway off the bed, looking back at me. I smile sheepishly. Sorry, I was trying to fix your ear. I get the feeling... Sorry for that gibberish. That's up too. No, you're fine. You're perfectly fine, Nikki G. I partly feel like if Chase wasn't with Leo, he might be with Kudzu. I know I'm probably screwing up his name still. Kudzu reaches up, poking at the ear. Ow. Ow. Thanks. I noticed on the bedside table that there's a small plate with what looks like a blueberry muffin on it. Kudzu notices and reaches out for it. You want to eat? I ate a couple earlier myself. I didn't realize how hungry I was. He lowers his ears. Still one left, though. My stomach is settled for the most part, so I take the plate from him. Thanks. It's still dark outside from what I can see. Did we sleep through the whole day? I realize that I've completely lost track of time. What time is it? Cuts reaches over to the bedside table, grabbing his phone. 2:30 in the morning. I rub my face. Did we sleep through the day or something? No, you were asleep for like 2 hours. Oh, that's it. Really? That's it? I was thinking like we slept through like the next day. But I do remember that Tendo did say like Tendo was like, oh yeah, like the next day only, it's the next day if it shows up on the screen. So oh. Really? Felt like it had been days since what happened at Brian's trailer. Yeah, I found you out around midnight. Cuds turns nimbly on his rear on the bed, facing me with his legs crossed. How are you feeling? I'm okay. Cuds gives me a long, hard look. Again, he has the expression of wanting to say something, but he's holding back. What is it? Cuds lets out a breath. Listen, I'm not gonna ask what happened with Brian, but if you ever want to talk about it. Talking about Brian's the last thing I want to do, and I can feel the threat of violent shivers coming up my spine just thinking about him. Cuds reaches out one of his black hands to rub at my shoulder. Awkward and comforting as always. I've been through some stuff myself. Cuds catches himself. Not saying I know what you went through, but I know how it can feel having something really fucked up happen to you. I don't think I've ever seen Cuds stumble over his words like this. I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's comparable if he, Cuds trails off, seemingly stunned at his own lack of delicacy. For the first time since I left that trailer, I feel a little bit like laughing. I reach up to rub Cuds' own arm, feeling like I need to comfort him now. No, it's fine, man. He didn't do anything like that. At least not how you think he would. Cuds watches me. I know he's not going to ask, so I go on. He, has a thing for asphyxiation, I guess. Oh, jeez. Cuds' eyes immediately go to my neck. I'm fine, it was just creepy. Creepy definitely doesn't begin to describe it, but I don't think now's the time to go into details. I look out the window again, and aside from a few orange dots of light from far away lampposts, it's black. So, can you tell me what's going on now? Cuds runs a hand through his head first, sighing heavily and looking out the window with me. Sure you don't want to wait until morning? I really don't think I'm going to be able to fall asleep again, honestly. Cuds continues to stare out the window, and that's when I really start to wonder what it was that I missed. So, yesterday about noon is when I saw some weird stuff going on. Cuds looks at me. Your friend TJ, he came kind of jogging up the road. My mind flashes back to when I saw TJ running past the diner. I hadn't had time to really figure out what he was doing before Duke barged in. He said someone was after him and that he needed to leave. He talked to you? Where is he? I feel the fur prickling up all over my body. The thought that TJ might be out there somewhere in the chaos is terrifying. How could someone like him survive that? I'm certainly doing a terrible job. I don't know. He asked me if I had a car, but I don't, so we kept up on the road. Up the road, there's nothing past Kudzu's trailer aside from Carl's house, and that's over a mile away. But Carl doesn't have a car anymore. Maybe he's just staying with the Ram? I hope that's the case. After he left, though, was when things really started going crazy. Cuds shakes his head. You know Dale? Yeah. Dale's the only otter in town now that my family has left. He was walking up the road with a fucking shotgun, pointing it around and stuff. Is that out of the ordinary for Dale? I want to get back on the topic of TJ. If he went up the road away from the town, we could still find him. But he was bleeding, had cuts on his leg, and his jeans were all ripped up. Oh. But he knocked on my door. I didn't open it, but he yelled through it saying there was a meeting in the center of town. What kind of meeting? A fucked up one, apparently. Anyway, I went over to Leo's house to see if he was home, then I saw the window. Cuds rubs the back of his neck, his ears lowering. Obviously, I know some bad shit had happened, but I had no way of knowing what. Anyway, I went to the town center hoping I'd see you two there, but just getting there was crazy. Cuds looks back at me. Jeremy's house was burning, and Janice's house looked like it had been broken into too. Jeremy's house? That was Janice's house. Didn't run into anyone until I got to the townhouse. This whole thing is just getting bigger and bigger. While I'd been in Brian's trailer, everything had been falling apart outside. But why? What's going on? Cuts shakes his head. I still don't know that, even after they told me. Who? The older guys. Mark and the mayor said something about this having happened before, that it was our turn or something. Was this a curse? So is it a curse? Our turn? What does that mean? Cut shakes his head again. I don't know. They just said it happened to their grandparents, that we had to be ready. Ready? Did they tell us what to do? Said to pray. Is that all they told you? Basically, acted like there was nothing we could do about it, and, Cuts pauses. What? They all said we can't leave and showed us a body. Cuds stops talking. I stare. Like a dead body? Kudzu swallows and nods. What is going on? I feel my voice rise in pitch, and Kudzu puts up his hands of trying to quiet me down. I don't know, but there was weird cuts on the body. They said we can't leave because something out there will stop us if we try to leave town. I stare at Cuds. Like a serial killer or something? They wouldn't say. They acted like it's a monster. Oh, jeez. Well, then they're lying, right? Cuts is quiet for a moment, then shakes his head. After everything I've seen, I just don't know. Well, I think trying to figure out what the hell we're gonna do. Well, we need to find Leo at least. Cuts nods like he's already thought about that. Then maybe get my car and at least try to leave. Cuts doesn't say anything to that. But if we can't leave for whatever reason, then we can at least have to find the rest of my friends. I look at Cuds. Well, I do. I don't know what you're gonna be. Cuds gives me a weird smile. Well, I don't have anywhere else to go aside from out of here. Besides, I owe it to Leo to get him out. I feel a warm rush of relief flow over me, knowing Kudzu will be with me. I don't think I'd been able to do any of this alone. So we're gonna get Leo. Kudzu nods. Well, I am, at least. You should really stay here and get some more rest after what you went through. Of course, I'd rather stay here and hide until Kudzu comes back, but Leo tried to save me back at the diner. Risked his life to do it. After everything Leo had done for me, I owe him too. No, I'm gonna go with you. Kudzu shakes his head. I don't think so. It'll make things easier if it's just me. Kudzu shifts, looking toward the kitchen. Besides, I'll have Leo's gun with me in case something goes wrong. He was my boyfriend. I can't just sit here while you save him. I just realized that's a smoke room reference. Yeah, doesn't the smoke room take place like the 1900s, 1920s, something like that? In Echo? Kudzu pauses. Listen, I know Leo, and I know he would never want me to bring you into something like this. Yeah, well, Leo not wanting me to do something never stopped me before. Getting defined like this is making me feel better. It gives me purpose again. Excuse me. Kudzu looks like he's about to shake his head again, but I continue. Besides, it might help things. One of us could go in while the other distracts Duke or something. The Kudzu looks unsure, so I press my advantage. And if something goes wrong, one of us will be there to help the other. Kudzu pulls out one of his whiskers. Maybe, if it's just Duke there. He might not even be there. He might be at Brian's trailer or somewhere else around town. Kudzu sighs and looks me right in the eyes. Are you sure you want to do this? I'm not, but I nod anyway. Oh, jeez. Save. I gotta save. I'm surprised there was no option there. I was thinking it would be one of those things where, like, oh, like, you can either choose to go with Kudzu or you can choose to stay in the home. I still have to play Smoke Room. I don't really know that much about Smoke Room besides people told me before. Besides, supposedly it's a prequel to Echo. We try to keep off the road in the brush on our way to Duke's house. Despite our situation, the biggest thing on my mind right now is ticks. Funny how the mind works. The faint shouts and yells coming from the town are more frequent now. Another pop comes from that direction. It reminds me of the gun Kudzu has tucked into his waistband. He's never used one before, and it took us a solid couple of minutes to decide if he should even stick it there. Another pop. I can't help but think that that's where the motel is, where Jenna might be. Here, though, not much is out of place aside from the smell of smoke on the breeze. That is until we come across a body hanging from a tree about 100 yards from Duke's house. I'm the first to notice it, and when I do, I gasp and instinctively reach for Kudzu. He catches my hand and looks up as he holds on to me. It's high up, maybe 50 feet, but from the markings of the fur, I think it's a fox. Oh, Jesus. Kudzu whispers next to me as I look away, feeling my stomach turn again. What the hell? How did he get up there? I look back and see that he's hanging by his wrist. I don't think he could have done that himself. Yeah. We both stare up at him for a little while longer, long enough to notice the long vertical slashes down his back. Those are the same cuts I saw on the other guy. Kudzu whispers distractedly. But who put him up there? Kudzu's silent and I keep staring up at the guy, the first dead guy that I've ever seen. Suddenly, all of my motivation to get Leo starts to evaporate. Kudzu rests a hand on my shoulder and I jump. Sorry. Kudzu pats me. You alright? I'll take you back, okay? That sounded like the best idea in the world right now. I hesitate. When I think of Leo, I imagine him in the same situation as I was with Brian. Duke didn't seem as fucked up, but I have no idea what he's capable of. That thought makes it feel as if my heart is dropping through the ground, so I grit my teeth and shake my head. No, I'm okay. Kudzu looks at me closely and nods. Okay, let's move back towards the road, though. I don't think anybody is around right now anyways. I want to move towards the road, too, mainly because I'm actually starting to worry that moving further away from the town really is dangerous. Duke's house is dark as we approach it. As we get closer, though, I see flashes of light from a window well. We both crouch next to the house behind a small cluster of sagebrush. Alright, so all I can really think to do is knock on the door to see if he's there. I swallow. You'd stay hiding, of course, but if he does come out, I don't know. I may try to put him down right there. Then I come out and help? Kudzu lets out a low chuckle. Yeah, but again, I'm not sure if that's what I'll do. You might be able to talk him out of this. Yeah, I don't have much faith in that plan. But if he isn't here, well, we'll probably go in and find Leo, alright? Okay. My heart rate picks up as I realize how close we are to making this happen. Well, all of them, I'm going to put very heavy quotations, all of them supposedly are in the same universe. No, not really. I know Echo and Smoke Room are in the same universe, but Adastra is like a spin-off in its own fictional universe, and Glory Hounds, I heard, is in its own fictional universe. And Kemia is in the Adastra universe. It's really weird. Like, the project is called Echo, it's like Echo Universe, but it's not, it's more like Final Fantasy, where like each VN is where each VN is kind of like in its own, where all the VNs take place in the same multiverse, not necessarily the same universe. My heart rate picks up as I realize how close we are to making this happen. I start to have second thoughts. Maybe we should have at least looked for the sheriff? Maybe we should have gone straight to the motel. Alright. I can tell Kudzu is nervous too as he wipes his hands on his tank top before standing up slowly. Just watch from here. If he comes out with his gun, though, I'm not going to try anything. He hesitates. And if I get shot or something, don't help. Just run back to my house and start looking for your other friends, I guess. Now I'm really starting to feel unprepared for all of this. Everything is moving way too fast. There isn't really any time, though. We have to save Leo as soon as possible. There's no telling what Duke might be doing with him. As Kudzu starts to move away, I get the urge to hug him. He's done so much for me already, saving me and now trying to save Leo. But by now, he's already halfway across the yard to the house. I hold my breath and watch as Kudzu's dark form molds in with the blackness of the house. It's like he's being swallowed up by it in a way. After a few moments, I hear him knock on the door. I listen, trying to breathe through my mouth instead of my whistling nose so I can better hear what's going on. Oh gosh. That startled me. That straight startled me for a minute. I was like, oh gosh. Kudzu knocks again, much more loudly. Hey, it's Cud, I need some help. I look up and down the road, worried someone's going to hear her shouting. There's a slight rustling behind me, and I look back, eyes wide. I don't see anything at first, but then I feel like there's a shape behind another groove of sagebrush about 20 feet back. Something crouched, the moonlight defining its shape through the brush. I squint, completely stopping my breathing. It looks like it has a tail, a really thick one like an otter. Was it Dale? I can't even tell if it really is a person, though. Chase! Kudzu whispers, shouts, and I jump before stumbling to my feet. The shape behind me doesn't move at all, and I try to reassure myself that it's probably a rock. I jog over to Kudzu as he tries the door, trying to not think too much about what I just saw. Locked. He looks around for a while, then starts moving down the side of the house. Look for a window. Are we gonna break one? Maybe. Should only take us a few minutes to sweep the house so we can get the hell out. We quickly spot a window in the back of the house. Kudzu looks in and bites his lip. I'm just worried that Duke might still be in there with a gun or something. He bends over, picking up a sizable rock. Well, not much choice. If I say run, run. Got it? I nod and Kudzu lifts the rock above his head before smashing it through the window. The sound is probably the loudest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. I cover my own ears like that's gonna lessen the sound. Kudzu jumps to the side away from the window, reaching back to hold on to me. The fur on Kudzu's body frizzes up and I see his ears perked up as far as they can go. As the final tinkling of the glass subsides, we both listen. My ears are ringing, but the only other sound I can hear are the chirping of the crickets. Finally, Kudzu lets out a soft breath. Alright, let's go. I help him push out a few more shards of glass. Once that's done, the raccoon hoists himself inside, very carefully maneuvering around the sharp, broken edges. He turns and reaches out to me, helping me through in the same fashion. Give me 1 second, everyone. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back, everyone. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was the door in the game. That's why I said that made me jump too. Are you sure it's in the same universe, Ghosty? Because I thought that when I used to be in the Furry VN, I thought they said it was its own separate thing. Huh? Maybe it isn't. Okay. Yeah, I definitely know Echo Smoke were more connected, and I definitely know that I definitely knew that Adastra was its own separate universe. Like it's part of the Echo project, but it's its own separate thing. Even though I'm trying to be careful, when I bring my arm in, it drags along a jagged edge of glass sticking out from the side, which is pretty... Oops, sorry, now I'm getting distracted. Which is a pretty cool thing, because, like, I really love it, because, like, that's why I wanted to get this VN off of the ground, because the world, like, I have so many ideas for the VN. Like, I have... If my VN Beastly does well enough, I did have stuff I wanted to do in the Beastly universe. There was, one of the stories I wanted to do took place in the far past. It was a little more interesting, was a lot more fantasy stuff. No. I gotta get my project off the ground. The biggest issue for me has been just getting an artist. Nobody wants to work on the project with me, which sucks. It really does. I was like, come on, guys. Like, nobody wants to work on this project. I'm like, I really, really need somebody to help me work on art. I really want to get this project off the ground. But anyway, back to the end. Even though I'm trying to be careful, when I bring my arms in, it drags along a jagged edge of glass sticking out from the side. I grimace, the fiery pain taking a moment to really set in. Shit, you okay? He grabs my wrist so we can pull my arm up to examine it by moonlight and sucks in a breath. Oh, fuck, you might need stitches for that. That's when I see the blood starting to ooze up from the fur. It's only about an inch long, but the amount of blood coming out is surprising. Damn it, I'll take care of it after we find Leo. I pull my arm away despite Kudzu still trying to take a look at it. Alright, I'll see if we can't find something to wrap it up in. Kudzu starts fumbling along the wall and finds a light switch. I'm surprised to see a fairly quaint and tidy house. Unlike Kudzu's trailer, though, there's barely anything in it. There's a single sofa and a very old-fashioned TV in what I presume is the living room. There's a fireplace and a few dirty-looking chairs on the other end of the room. In front of us is a long hallway with a few doors on both sides. Alright, check every room and door. It's not a very big house. Kudzu sets off down the hall. Look for stairs. I feel like he'd be in the basement. As Kudzu goes into a room to the left, I peer into one on the right. It looks like a bedroom with a single twin in the middle of the room. I take a few steps in, looking around and not seeing anything else. Somebody's gonna come in here. Also, something's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. Something bad is going to happen, and we're gonna be like, oh crap. I prepare myself. Oh no, Tendo, have you played this? Ooh, Tendo, you play in mature rated games. Ooh, bad person. When I turn back around, I do see some picture frames hung up on the wall. Seems kind of odd for someone like Duke to have those up. In the pictures, I see a much younger Duke, or at least a pre-meth Duke. Next to him is a female weasel. Her smile is small compared to Duke's tooth-bearing grin. She's in the 3 other pictures next to that one, too. Weird. I wouldn't have thought anyone would want to be with Duke, especially someone as pretty as that weasel. I move on to the next room, and this one is completely empty, painted white. The next door down is the last one on the right side of the hall. This is the only door that's closed, and like the last room's walls, it's painted white. It's taller and seems to be a bit thicker than the other doors. When I try the knob, it's locked. Kudzu! I whisper, and Kudzu pokes his head out from the door just behind me. What's up? What's up? I point at the door in front of me. This one's locked. Kudzu stands in front of the door and presses his ear to it. I see his hand hover in front of the crack between the door and its frame. Then he reaches out to my hand and pulls it up to the same spot. He looks at me. You feel that? I'm about to say no, but that's when there's a noticeably cooler draft coming from within. It's kind of cold. The basement. I bet my ass that Leo's down there. I swallow. Should we try to break down the door or something? I'm sorry. Should we try to break down the door or something? I don't... Kutsu's ears suddenly perk up straight and his eyes widen. My fur bristles out. What? That's when I hear it. The crunching of gravel. Oh, shit. Kutsu grabs my arm and starts pushing me back down the hall towards the back room with the broken window. At that moment, I hear the knob turn and suddenly my path changes direction as Kutsu stares me into a room on our left. It's one of the rooms I hadn't locked in myself, and I see that's a storage room. Looked into myself. Boxes are everywhere, and so is a bunch of junk. I guess that explains why all the other rooms are so spotless, and he's not using his basement for storage. Kudzu looks around desperately for a moment, then pulls me behind a mound of boxes just as I hear the door swinging open. The problem ain't that he got away. Duke is practically screeching when he comes up inside as if he's been waiting to be indoors before he yelled. Underneath Duke's pattering feet on the wooden floor, I hear 2 loud thumps and I know immediately who's with him. My blood runs cold and my breathing seems to stop, worried that they'll be able to hear even that. If he's behind all this, he's gonna make things so much worse. I hear a non-commutal grunt from the bear, and I shudder at the sound of his voice again. I feel light touching my back as Kudzu rests his hand there, trying to comfort me. What do you mean? What do you mean, huh? You like the dreams you're having right now? Because trust me, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse. I hear a smacking sound, which I imagine is Duke's tiny hand trying to slap Brian in the face. What the fuck you staring at? Duke's grating, nasally voice echoes around the carpetless house. Your window. There's a moment of silence that I hear some shifting around, then suddenly I hear Duke's footsteps bustle down the hall. Oh gosh, oh shit. They just noticed the window, by the way? I thought they would have been noticed. Never ever go into a goddamn basement horror scenario. Then I don't really care. You can play whatever games you want to play. Ratings. I've always been of the firm belief that ratings are not law. Some people are more mature. Some people are more mature than others. Hey, I started playing M-rated games when I was like 12, and it didn't affect me in any way. After playing M-rated games when I was 12, I started watching R-rated movies about the same time, and didn't really do nothing to me. So I mean, do whatever you want. I duck more deeply behind the box as he passes the doorway to our room. Fuck, is someone fucking in here? Bride's lumbered down the hall, basically standing right in front of our room. I hear two more thumps and a bunch of rustling as Duke effectively bats at the bear's bulk. Fucking idiot, they broke in. I hear jingling of keys as Duke continues to shout. Check every fucking room, I'll bet they broke through the basement window too, fuck! Now that he says it, breaking through the basement window might have been a better idea. Looking between a crack in the boxes, I get a flash of Weasel walking past the door again. He's holding something long and shiny. I shrink back against the boxes, wondering how in the world I got here. As I stare at the ground, I also wonder if I'm about to have a heart attack. I focus on watching the blood seep from my arm, pulling onto the wooden floor next to me. Oh gosh, I was thinking about that too. I was like, wait, aren't you probably dripping blood all over the place? I hear a key go into a lock and a doorknob turn. I swear to God, if that wolf ain't down there, I'll blow your goddamn face off. His voice fades away, unaccompanied by receding footsteps down the stairs. Heavy footfalls of Brian start to move around slowly toward the other end of the hall. Kudzu moves his hand up to my shoulder. I look at him and he holds a finger up to his lips, then points in the direction of the broken window. I don't want to move at all. In fact, I'd rather sit here and just disappear into the floor. Somehow, though, I'm able to force myself to my feet as Kudzu tugs me out. We move very slowly to the doorway, and there Kudzu holds up a hand, making me pause. I watch his ears perk, flicking in the direction of Brian. My hearing probably isn't nearly as good as his, but I'm still able to pick up the bear's heavy, labored breathing. I hear some shuffling, then more heavy footsteps. Kudzu freezes as we both listen to the bear move back into the hallway, and then his footsteps fade away. I imagine he's moved into another room, and that's when Kudzu finally peers around the corner. I hold my breath, but Kudzu reaches back and grabs my wrist, pulling me into the hallway. It's empty, and as quickly as we can, we move to the end of the hall to stand next to the broken window. Kudzu sticks one leg out of the window before balancing his entire weight on both his hands that are resting on the bottom ledge. Like a gymnast, he moves the other leg out and quietly drops to the ground outside, his head narrowly missing the top ledge. I don't know if it's because he's a raccoon or an actual gymnast, but there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to do that. Kudzu's already reaching for me, though, his eyes wide with frantic worry. I can hear shuffling sound behind me again, coming from one of the rooms. Kudzu reaches out towards me, then suddenly waves his hand wildly in the direction of the room right next to me. Heart pounding, I almost stumble through the doorway into the room. This one has a few chairs stacked up against the side of the wall and what looks like a closet door. Brian's footsteps thump down the hall again, and I almost gasp as I get a glimpse of his massive shadow through the doorway. But then it disappears as I hear his footsteps move into the room right next to me. From just inside the room, I see Kudzu slowly pop back up in front of the window, then motion frantically towards himself. My legs are like jelly, though, when I hesitate. Then there's a raspy, dragging sound in the room next to me that almost makes me jump. It's the sound of a cardboard box being slid across the floor. I hear Brian mumbling. Oh, jeez. Definitely not paint. I force my numbed feet to stumble out into the hallway toward the window. I force my numbed feet to stumble onto the hallway toward the window. Kudzu reaches for me, his eyes desperate, but then I hear the shuffling behind me again. Why is he moving so fast now? Automatically, I step back into the room while Kudzu continues back into himself. Brian's lumbering footsteps move down the hallway slowly in my direction. Kudzu has ducked back down out of sight. I'm alone and trapped. I remember the closet at the last minute and lunge towards it, not having enough time to worry about the sound I made. Somehow the closet door glides open with hardly a sound, as if the hinge had just recently been greased. I step inside and swing the door shut, trying not to let it snap closed. At that exact moment, Brian's lumbering gat enters the room. I shrink back against the wall, holding my hands to my mouth, trying not to breathe. My heartbeat is so loud it's the only thing I can hear as it pounds in my ears. I hear coughing and grunting coming from behind the door. Then it goes quiet. I wait, not sure whether the bear's left or not. Slowly, I walk up to the door, pressing the side of my head gently against it. Oh, God, why do you do that? Oh, no. I gotta save. I'm worried. I'm scared. I'm very scared. I'm super scared. Oh, jeez. Why would you do that? You don't ever do that. Make sure. Oh, jeez. Slowly, I walk up to the door, pressing the side of my head gently against it. I listen, trying to see if I can hear anything. I swallow, then reach up to rest my hand on the doorknob. Think about making a run for it. Maybe trying to dive through the window. I might get hurt, but if I'm able to get away. I wait for what feels like 2 or maybe 3 minutes. It's complete silence on the other side. I wait even longer, to the point where I'm sure there's no way someone like Brian could keep that quiet that long. So slowly as I can, I push the door open. Oh, jeez, he's gonna be right there. He's there. He's waiting. I know it. He's gonna be right there. He's waiting. He's purposely doing this. He's waiting to see if anything's in there. And it immediately comes into contact with something on the other side before it's even a foot open. GG. It's soft, whatever it is, and the door almost bounces back from it. Oh, Jesus, Tim. I wait for a moment, then as I'm starting to realize what just happened, a massive bear paw reaches around the edge of the door. Oh, fuck. Oh, no! I knew it! I was like, he's there. He's gonna be waiting. I know it. In the next half second, the door's ripped open and I found myself facing Brian. Fuck. A weird numbing feeling spreads down from my crotch and into my legs, and I sag in front of the bear. Oh, he pissed himself. My mind refused to think, to even process what my eyes are seeing. What it does process is pure terror. Brian seems to have trouble understanding what he's seeing as well. He stares at me for a few seconds, his eyes particularly crossing as he focuses on me. Then he grins. Hey, you. I can't respond. Instead, I press back into the closet, flattening myself against the wall as he reaches out to me. Still, there isn't much I can do as he grabs the front of my shirt and yanks me out of the closet. He starts to pull me toward the doorway, and as I stumble into the hallway, I'm finally able to start trying to move again. Seeing the window, I lunge towards it, but Brian's grip is too strong. I hear a few poppy sounds as some threads in my shirt give out, and Brian yanks me back violently. Everything goes black as something massive knocks up against the side of my face, and the next thing I know, I'm thrown down the hall, flat on my back. God damn it. We were so close! Oh, we were so close. Oh my god, we were so close. I'm staring up at the ceiling, watching it slide sideways above me like it's painted onto a treadmill. My right foot is hiked into the air, and I realize that Brian's dragging me along the floor now, back toward the end of the hall. The fur on my back glides easily along the hardwood, my shirt scrunching up to my chest. Brian stops as he reaches the white door, pushing it open. Dizzily, I look up at the window, wondering if Kudzu was there and if he could see me. I reach towards it, but that's when I'm being dragged again, and I land painfully on the first step. I gasp and turn sideways as Brian drags me clumsily down the rest of the steps. My spine isn't taking the rest of the corners. It's dark and the air turns cool and musty. We finally reach the bottom of the steps, pain pulsing at various points in my body from the rough handling. Brian starts dragging me again, and I finally realize that he's going to have me trapped again. He'll do whatever his sick mind thinks up, and there won't be anybody there to stop him. No! I moan and try to grab something, anything to stop me from being pulled deeper into this basement. My hand manages to latch to a wooden beam next to the stairs. Brian grunts as my body is snapped into full extension and we're brought to a halt. Come on, let go. I keep clinging to the beam, imagining that at any moment Kudzu was going to come running down the stairs, gun in hand. And that comes to an end as Brian kicks me in the chest and I let go of a wheeze. You know you're the one making this hard on yourself. He starts dragging me again as I curl up and cradle my chest, vaguely hoping that he'd given me a heart attack and I'd be free from all this. I swear to God, if you're lying to me, Leo, I'm gonna paint the ceiling with your fucking brains! Why am I still here if someone came in to save me then? The sound of Leo's voice has me snapping my eyes open again. While it isn't quite as heartening as Kadusu barraging him with a weapon, it's definitely relieving to hear his voice again. Why are almost all MCs physically weak? I mean, not when it comes to anime. I mean, not when it comes to, you know, anime stuff. Sorry. I'm directed through another doorway into a brightly lit room, the fluorescent light buzzing overhead. As I come to a stop on the cement floor, the room goes quiet and I squint against the sudden light. The walls on all sides are covered in shelves that are filled with silver tin soup cans. Storage room of some kind. Duke is standing in the middle of the room next to a metal chair staring at me. And that chair is Leo. It looks weird to see him standing up. I kind of wish they had a sprite where he was tied, but I'll let it slide, I guess. His arms are down his sides, and I can see that they're both handcuffed to the sides of the chair. His feet are similarly strapped to the chair's legs. His face is one of shock as he stares at me open-mouthed. I stare back, even feeling weirdly self-conscious as everyone watches me. Duke breaks the silence. I knew it! Duke is snarling, but it's not at me. Instead, he's looking at Brian, his lips drawn back as he growls. This is what the fuck happens! Brian scratches his head. What happens? Duke kicks at the air with a foot before stomping down the hard cement that makes up the floor of the room. This! Leo wasn't supposed to know he got away! Well, I caught him, so what's the difference? Duke lunges at Brian, swinging his arms a few times to beat his fist uselessly against the bear's bulk. Brian flinches back anyway, letting go of my foot. Leo's still staring down at me, mouth slightly less open. I have no idea what's going on in his mind right now. I think that's... It depends on what kind of shirt it is. It's not as easy to rip a shirt as you think. It depends on what kind of clothes that he was wearing. Like, let's say he was wearing a flannel. You can't rip a flannel very easily. I mean, but now if it's like a regular basic t-shirt, that shit'll rip very easily. I suddenly realized how stupid I was to come here with kudzu. Sure, saving Leo as soon as possible was important, but why had I thought we could have done it alone? I should be in my car right now, halfway to Peyton, 20 minutes away from the cops. Indeed, I'm in Duke's basement, about to be murdered. I slowly sit up just as Duke seems to finish his beating of Brian. Gasping, he turns to me. Fuck, well, if you're here, I guess we'll just have to make use of you. He waves his hand loosely between me and Brian. Pick him up. Wait a second, just... Shut up! Brian picks me up roughly, almost encircling my chest with his hands alone as he pins my arms to my sides. He holds me in front of Leo and Duke stands to the side between us. It's only now that I notice the puffiness in Leo's left eye, some crusted blood near his brow with some more coming from his lower lip. It's not terrible, but it's clear he's been hit a few times. As I watch him, I can see the fear in his eyes reflected back at me. That alone almost scares me more than the situation we're in. That's true, too. Tendo also brings up a good point. Also, adrenaline is a thing, so probably you're not really thinking like that. Not smirking anymore, are you? Duke bares his teeth in Leo's direction. Been trying to wipe it off your face this whole time, and turns out this was all I needed to do it. Duke gestures at me. You little fuck-outer, right? Leo closes his eyes and shakes his head. Why are you here? He mumbles it almost to himself. Huh? Duke leans closer to the wolf. Why didn't you run if you got away? Leo, because he loves you, you idiot. Because he loves you, you idiot. That's why. He still loves you. Leo opens his eyes, he's looking straight at me. I don't know if he expects me to answer, but the look of defeat on his face makes me feel like I have to. We wanted to save you. We didn't know where you were, what was happening. Duke suddenly leans away from Leo towards me, his eyes narrowed. We? Who's we? I feel my stomach drop as I realize what I've just done. Oh, I mean all of us. I saw some of my friends out there before I came here, but I'm alone. Duke studies me closely. Oh, jeez. Was there anyone else up there, Brian? Brian is sulking behind me, letting go of my shoulder occasionally to rub at his chin. Didn't see anybody except this otter. Duke looks up at the ceiling like he's listening for footsteps or something. Duke. Duke snaps his attention back to Leo, and I notice his face is practically dancing with twitches and ticks. This is crazy. Leo enunciates each word through gritted teeth, his muzzle lowered so he's looking up at Duke eye to eye. Look at this. Look at everything you've done. It makes no sense. Duke lets out a high-pitched laugh. Crazy? You know what's crazy? Duke gestures at me again. Ask him what he saw out there. Duke turns to face me, swinging his hand from me to Leo. Go on, tell him. He doesn't believe me. The corner of Duke's eye seemed to have a mind of its own, like there's some kind of living creature under the surface, wreathing around. Was it a little crazy? I stare at Duke, entranced, until Brian gives me a quick jerk. I saw a body. There were gunshots. Duke giggles. And that ain't the half of it. Houses of fire, people eating each other. You think I'm crazy for shooting Janice, but if you knew... But how the hell are we supposed to know why that is? Leo leans forward as far as his bonds let him, eyes wide, almost pleading with Duke. Things are getting real. This started when you got here. Duke lowers his voice dangerously, leaning back towards Leo. Their noses almost touching. That doesn't mean shit. Leo speaks haltingly back at the weasel. Does this? Duke suddenly pulls a gun from the waistband of his pants and points it straight at my face. Oh god. I'm barely able to comprehend it before Brian jumps to the side of me out of the way of the gun. Fucking Christ, Duke, don't point it at me! Leo almost stands up on his toes with the chair still attached to his body, fur bristled out all over his body. Duke's lowered the gun, though, still watching Leo. Leo slips back in the chair, trembling. Just stop, Duke. I don't know anything. Duke stares for a moment at the wolf, frowning. Then he looks down at his gun as if contemplating something. Slowly, he looks at me, then points the gun at Leo's head. Oh gosh. My heart jumps into my throat and Brian has to hold on to me as I try to hold out my hands. Wait, what are you doing? Maybe it is just you, Otter. What? It's you I was seeing before you got here, and it was you I saw sneaking around at night. What the hell are you talking about? I feel myself start to panic as I see Duke's finger tighten up around the trigger. I don't know what's happening. Leo's doing his best to keep his head out of the line of fire, leaning his head as far to the side as he can. Duke doesn't seem to be paying attention to him, though, instead keeping his eyes on me. Just explain to me why you think it's me. Maybe I can help. That seems to get some sort of reaction out of Duke as he lowers the gun just a bit. The problem now, though, is that it's pointed at Leo's chest and there's no way he can dodge that. Duke is studying me closely as if trying to figure out what to say. You know this has happened before. My mind races. The mass hysteria thing? Like 100 years ago. Yeah, that's right. See? How do you know that? He looks closely at me, but I'm relieved as he finally takes the gun away from Leo to be pointed at the ground. I did some research before coming here. I'm doing a news story on Echo for school. Duke is still eyeing me suspiciously. So you know about the murder? I try to think back to my research about what exactly happened. It was a while ago now, and I planned to fill in the gaps when I got back to Pueblo. Kind of, it happened in the mine. Yeah, it did. And then people went nuts. I wait, but Duke doesn't go on, filling the air with awkward silence. I can see Leo's head looking back and forth, probably trying to come up with a way to get out of this. I hope he's figuring something out, because I have no idea how we're going to do that. But, do you know why? I'm trying to sift through Duke's psyche to figure out why he thinks this might be related to Leo and I. Duke's breathing has leveled off, and with his calmness, there's a feeling that we've managed to ride out the storm. My grandpappy lived through it all and stayed in the town after. Oh? I notice Leo's not looking around anymore. Instead, his eyes are trained on the door behind me and slightly to my right. I'm going to look back, but Duke seems distracted right now, so I try to keep him engaged. Yeah, it happened weeks after the body was found. Sort of built up till all hell broke loose. Leo nods his head slightly, eyes still on the door, and my heart leaps in my chest as I realize what might be happening. Do you know why that was? Duke shakes his head. There's something bad in this town. The earth's bad, the air's bad, everything's tainted. So, you think something's in the air or water or something? I lean a bit to the left to try to keep Duke's eyes on me, away from Leo or the door. I don't know about that, but my grandpappy thought that because they didn't catch the murderer, he planted some seeds in the bad dirt. Oh, jeez. Smoke room. What are they? Is it an otter? I didn't think it was an otter. Duke looks at the ceiling. And grew something terrible. Wasn't until they killed the guy that did it that they had stopped. That's news to me. I didn't read anywhere that the murderer had been caught. Duke looks back down at me. So I don't know what it is. If it's murder or guilt or not catching someone that did wrong. I hear the softest sound of a footpad against the floor behind me and pray that none of the others did. But it started when you got here, so you gotta forgive me for wondering if one of you did something bad. Duke starts to raise the gun again. And brought that guilt back to this supposed land to grow the seeds again. Duke doesn't sound like himself at all. Not even his recently crazed self. Still, though I don't want to admit it, I start to have an idea of what Duke might be getting at. How this all fits in our history. What was that kid's name a while back that died at the lake? He wasn't murdered. You sure about that? Yes. But I'm not. Am I? I swallow hard, aware that some of the pieces don't fit, despite how disturbing the implications are. But that was years ago. Why didn't it start then? Why now? Duke shrugs. Maybe you wasn't guilty till now. Maybe kids don't understand what they've done. Maybe it's because you left and have made it angry. But he wasn't murdered. You see it happen. No, but the person that did would never do that. So am I talking to the wrong guy right now? Who was it? I look over at Leo again, swallowing hard. Who was it? Duke starts to raise the gun again, and what happens over the course of the next minute is too fast for me to comprehend until it's over. Leo explodes out from a sitting position, face twisted with rage as he bares his teeth in a full-on wolf snarl. Though his feet are handcuffed to the legs of the chair, he's still able to lunge off the ground with his feet. Oh, he lunges himself at Duke, slamming into the weasel with a painful crunch of flesh on flesh and metal on concrete. I gasp and watch as Leo starts ripping into Duke with his teeth. Duke screams and flails his arms around, apparently forgetting his weapon as it flies from his finger. The gun slides across the ground to tap gently against the wall, just 5 feet from me. Brian keeps a tight grip on me, though, but that's when I hear a clicking sound behind me. Brian does too, and he turns sideways, allowing me to see the source as well. Oh, he saved us! Caduceus here! He's saving us! Ooh. And there stands Caduceus, both hands on Leo's handgun as he points it up at Brian's head. It clicks uselessly, though, and Caduceus faces a mixed mass of terror, desperation, and confusion. The safety! Leo was still struggling on the ground with a screaming Duke, lifting his mouth from the weasel's arm to shout at Caduceus. Caduceus' eyes snap to the gun in his hand, but Brian's already moving. He kicks at Caduceus' hand and it connects violently, sending the gun flying into the air to clap against the ceiling. Brian lets go of me, and at that point reaching out to catch the gun. Oh no! Oh shit! Oh, what should I choose? Oh no! Oh, I don't. Should we go for the gun or should we help Caduceus? Go for the gun. I'm going for the gun. I'm going for the gun. Because no one's fighting over Duke's gun, I realize that may be my last chance. I lunge in the opposite direction. Clumsily, I scoop up the weasel's gun, turning it over in my hands until I'm holding it the right way. Brian, my gun! Leo's still tearing away at the weasel as Duke holds him up in defense. I turn around, crouch back against the wall as I see Brian standing over a downed Caduceus. I can only pray that he hasn't killed him. I point the gun at Brian as he turns around to face me. Seeing that he's about to get shot, the bear lunges at me, his massive paws up, stretching out towards me. Luckily for me, Duke never had the safety on and the gun is loaded. I shoot him right in the face. Oh, shit. Well, we just Oh, Chase just murdered somebody. The sound is so loud that the tiny room that my hearing goes out for a moment. Brian crumbles to the floor and the room goes quiet. But only for a moment. An earthly howling sound comes from the bear as he slowly props himself up on his hands, looking up at me. For a moment I wonder if the evil powers of Echo have brought him back to life somehow. But no, there's a bloody hole just above his blunt nose, and I can see the white of bone peeking through the red. Oh gosh, that's gross. Somehow the bullet hadn't even pierced his skull. Shakily I raise the gun again, but Brian rolls away the door, and with speed that shouldn't be possible for a bear his size, he's gone. I stare for a moment, wondering if I should run after him, but a snarl next to me has me pointing the gun at Duke instead. Leo's still tearing into his arms as Duke hollers at the top of his lungs, trying to cover his face. Leo, stop! I've got the gun on him! Leo looks up at me with his wild eyes, pausing for a moment before slowly letting go of the mustelid's arms, bloody jewel hanging from his chin. Oh, gosh. Oh, boy. I try to ignore that and keep the gun trained on Duke's head as Leo flops to the side in his chair. After seeing how little the bullet had affected Brian, I'm not so confident it will do much damage to Duke. Maybe bears just have thicker skulls, but I'm more worried that the gun is just shit. Duke doesn't move, though, as he lies back against the concrete, eyes closed, gasping for breath. His arms are at his sides, both of them leaking blood onto the ground. Leo really did a number on them. He definitely needs to go to the hospital. A hand touches my shoulder and I jump. I look back and see that it's Kaduzu. Sorry, you okay? Leo's gun hangs loosely from one of his hands. Kaduzu, you fucking saved our lives. I grin at him as I almost sob with relief. I'm gonna hug him, but I have to keep the gun on Duke. Of course, I'm sorry I didn't stop him when he took you. I wasn't sure what to do. He touches my shoulder again and I can feel him trembling. Don't worry about it, we're okay now. Could someone get me out of these handcuffs, please? My arms are fucking killing me. Whew. That was, Killing you! You ripped mine apart! Dude's practically sobbing now, curling up on his side to hold his arm to his chest. Fuck you, asshole. Leo spits at him as he tries to adjust his position on the floor. Where are the keys? Where are the keys, Duke? Duke takes in a shuddering breath and holds it for a few seconds before answering. Right pocket. Kaduzu walks over and kneels next to the weasel, shifting through his pocket. Keep an eye on the door, Chase, in case Blubbergut comes back. I try to angle myself so I keep an eye on both the door and Duke, even though I'm pretty sure the later is through at this point. Kaduzu pulls a small metal key out before moving over to Leo, fumbling around for a good while before the handcuffs finally drop to the ground. Leo kneels there for a moment, wringing out his wrists. You okay? He smiles at me. I'm a little sore, but I think I'll be alright. Maybe. He gets steadily to his feet, taking her handcuffs off of him before bending quickly to give me a kiss on the head. I'm so happy you're okay, Chase, and thank you, Kaduzu. He slaps the raccoon in the back before turning his attention to the weasel. Duke notices and quickly curls up tighter. I was just trying to help everyone. Ah! Leo grabs him by his bloodied arms before yanking him violently to his feet. The weasel screams double as the wolf twists those arms behind his back, handcuffing them. Why the hell do you have so many handcuffs anyway? Duke starts sobbing again until Leo whips him around and slaps him across the face. Duke sways, stunned by the power of the blow, before Leo brings the hand back and hits him on the other cheek. Shut the fuck up! Leo ignores Kaduzu as he pulls the chair back up and throws Duke into it so violently it almost tips over. Please, I'm sorry. I just want to help. Duke cowers as Leo raises his hand again. I realize how tightly I'm holding onto the gun, and though I'm pointing it at the ground now, I'm short of taking my finger off the trigger. While Leo's violence is a little disturbing, it's almost comforting to have him throw his weight around after how the weasel had threatened us. I'm serious. I'll be like, I don't feel bad at all for Duke. I'd be like, if I was in this situation, I'd beat the crap out of him. I might not kill him, but I'd be very close to. Right? I'm like, I don't know how Brian survived that gunshot. While Leo's violence... Oh, yeah, read this. Caduceus, on the other hand, doesn't look comforted at all. He's still trembling from the earlier fight, and he's pulling at the fur on his chin as he watches Leo. Careful, Leo. Let's just take him in the cops or something. Caduceus looks over his shoulder at the door. Going to Peyton was probably a better idea now that I realize how messed up everyone is. Yeah. I mean, if that monster they're all talking about isn't real, would have been better to risk that than to get involved with these idiots. I hadn't even thought about the supposed thing keeping everyone from leaving the town. It seems silly now that we'd let a stupid story like that keep us here. Leo doesn't seem to be listening. You're a fucking lunatic, Duke. Why shouldn't I kill you right now? Leo! Leo looks over his shoulder at us, finally shaking his head at Caduceus conscriptorily. Caduceus goes silent as Leo goes back to staring down the weasel. Now explain to us what the hell is going on. Leo leans in closer with his bloody muzzle and Duke cringes back. Tell the truth and maybe I'll let you go. Leo glances at me. I won't kill you, at least. He's trying to make it clear to me that he's just trying to scare Duke. At least that's what I hope he's doing. I already explained. Duke's eyes dart back and forth between us. The way he's kicking his feet around with a high-pitched, whiny voice makes me think of a child. A really ugly, malnourished child. I still feel a little bad for him, though. Remind me, because I was a little fucking distracted. Caduceus sidles up next to me and sets his hand on my shoulder. You wanna watch the door? I touch hand in acknowledgement and turn around to face the door. I don't really think Brian's going to be coming back, though. I told you something's bad's happening, and we need to figure out what. Yeah, but how did kidnapping us help anything? Duke sighs deeply and I glance over my shoulder to see him slumping in the feet. Last time this happened, it might have been caused by a murder. Not the murder, but that the guy got away with murder. There's a moment of silence. Okay. Leo's tone demands that Duke go on. So the guilt from the guy, or the boy in the town, or just spirits, heck, I don't know. Maybe all of that. But it came together to make everything go crazy. Okay, sure. But how does this have anything to do with us? I saw Ziada sneaking around town before you says they got here. I look back again and see Duke looking at me. So is Leo. Seemed kind of fishy to me, so I thought he might have something to do with it all. It was my only lead. Leo doesn't respond this time. I look back again and see that he's still looking at me. What is it? You told me yourself, Leo, that you saw him sneaking around too. It was someone else. How the hell do you know that? What are you guys talking about? Caduceus, can you watch the door? I finally turn around. Leo leans one hand on the back of Duke's chair as he sighs. If you remember, Chase, I told you about how I thought I saw someone out my window that looked like you. Leo turns his glare back onto Duke. Got drunk with this asshole and accidentally told him about it too. But we both saw it! Isn't that a little bit strange? Some otter came by the town that looked like Chase. What the hell else was it? Leo glances back at me and I feel like there's some doubt in his eyes. I mean, you weren't here, right? Of course I wasn't. I know. Just making sure. Leo turns back to Duke. Why would that mean anything anyway? Duke looks around, visibly clutching his toes. I've heard stuff about doubles, like doppelgangers. Something. Doppelgangers? Sure, but people talked about that shit happening back then, seeing themselves and stuff. Okay, so if we believe that shit, why would it mean he has anything to do with anything? Well, my grandpappy said that the guy that did it was in 2 or 3 places at once sometimes. There's a moment of silence as we all absorb that bit of information. Sounds like a load of shit to me, Duke. Duke jumps up in his seat. I'm just telling you what I know. So what's your solution to all of this, then? I don't know. It stopped when they got the guy. Duke cowers in the chair and then glances at me. Leo follows his gaze and his eyes turn steely. Duke seems to notice Leo's sudden change in demeanor, but before he can do anything, he gets a massive slap from the wolf. Leo, stop it. Duke immediately starts sobbing again and curls in on himself. Me? This fucker wants to get at Chase. It did seem that way. Did Duke think that the only way to stop all of the problems in the town was to kill me? Duke? Kuduzu tries a different approach, his voice much gentler than Leo's. The problem with your theory is that Chase hasn't killed anyone. Right, Chase? Of course not. Of course not. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, no, of course not. So maybe we need to rethink things a little, huh? Or maybe he can do that in a fucking jail cell. We're going back to get my van, then we're going to get the hell out of here. If we can. I'm still not sure about that thing the mayor was talking about. What thing? A monster, something. The mayor told us it's killing people that are trying to leave. Leo stares. Has the town really gone that fucking insane? Yeah, probably. Kuduzu shrugs. There were bodies. Jesus. Leo looks around. Well, it still sounds like bullshit, but if there's anything, we'll be fine if we leave in a car. The motel is closer. We can use my car instead. Oh, wait, the motel is closer. We can use my car instead. Sure. Duke is still staring at me with a hard look. I get the feeling that despite all the things we just told him, he's not buying it. Leo hauls the weasel off the chair, gaining a little squeak of pain from Duke as he's forced to break eye contact with me. What about the others? We're going to try to find everyone we can before we leave, but the priority is to get ourselves to a police station. Leo pulls me to stand in front of him before gesturing at Kuduzu. Kud, take the gun. Safety's off now. Kuduzu visibly frowns. I hand it to him. Yeah, sorry about that. I want Chase between us. I don't trust these fuckers not to try anything, especially if Brian comes back. So with Kuduzu leading the way, we make our way out of Brian's house and into the night. I'm going to stop here. Perfect point to stop. Whew, that was a lot that just happened. That was a lot to happen. It is the perfect time to stop. That was, oh my gosh. So, Leo and Chase are okay. Brian's out there though. That's worrisome. And Duke is tied up. And the town's going crazy. Man, I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. I'm going to stop here. That's been over 3 hours now. I would like, but really quickly, I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by the stream. Welcome Tendo, our new moderator. He is the first moderator of the channel. I am expecting him to do a good job at keeping all of the trolls and other people out of here. And, you know, I will be adding more moderators as needed. Right now, I really feel like only really need one. But if I need more, I will definitely be looking for other people. With that being said, though, this has been Fallenwolf. Oh, wait, almost forgot. Feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you're really interested, if you really enjoy what I do, and you'd like to, you know, continue to watch more videos and get notifications of when I do more videos and streams. And do not forget that I also have a Ko-fi and PayPal if you'd like to help donate to the channel and help me continue to do what I love to do so much. And with that being said, I will see everyone in the next stream. Next stream will be probably the day after Christmas. I will be streaming The Beast. So Ghosty will be very happy to know I will be streaming The Beast next time. With that being said, though, take care, everyone. I love all of you. Mwah. And I'll see you on the next video or stream. Bye.